Chapter 738. There was a hint of a smile at the corners of Lu Ming's lips. It was a mocking smile. He knew what Jiang Taishu meant. Jiang Taishu's meaning was obvious. He was already on the 19th step. If Lu Ming stepped onto the 20th step, he would be humiliated. Jiang Taishu was not able to step on it, but he wanted to be superior and not let others step on it. It was ridiculous. Why would Lu Ming care about such a person? If you're so capable, come up too. Lu Ming smiled coldly and ignored Jiang Taishu. He turned around and stepped forward without hesitation. Boom! When Lu Ming stepped onto the second step, he felt as if the whole world was pressing down on him. His body involuntarily trembled, as if he would collapse at any time. In the sky ahead, Lu Ming saw a figure as tall as the sky, looking down at him. That kind of pressure was even more terrifying and powerful. Get down! The voice kept rushing into Lu Ming's mind and soul. Endless lights of various colors flew toward Lu Ming and hit Lu Ming's body. Lu Ming felt as if he was being cut into pieces. He could clearly see his flesh and blood being separated from his body. Of course, this was only what he felt. What others saw was that his body was trembling slightly. He stepped on it. He stepped on it. His body is trembling slightly. It seems very difficult. Can he hold on? If he can, he's comparable to the top 20 geniuses on the list of top 1,000 talents. The 20th step. This guy has a bright future. Below, countless people widened their eyes in shock and nervousness as they looked up at Lu Ming. No one can make me get down. Lu Ming growled on the 20th step. His eyes were full of determination and persistence. He wanted to break through all obstacles. He wanted to reach the peak. He wanted to surpass Martial Emperor Di. A figure seemed to appear in front of him. It was indomitable and had an unparalleled aura. It was even bigger and more majestic than the figure that had told him to get down. That was the Martial Emperor Di in his imagination. He had surpassed Martial Emperor Di. Why should he be afraid of this figure? His posture slowly stabilized, and he stood up straight. He stood firmly on the 20th step. Above them was the dark red staircase. Only those who had participated in the Heavenly King List battle obtained the top 108 places and had the protection of the tablet chi could step on the dark red step. Otherwise, there was only one way out. Looking at Lu Ming standing on the 20th step, a cold light flashed in Jiang Taishu's eyes. His body was extremely sharp. He looked at the 20th step, hesitated, but he did not step on it. At that moment, people on the other steps opened their eyes and looked up at Lu Ming. Amazing, truly amazing. Another top-notch genius. Many geniuses exclaimed. Brother Lu is indeed much stronger than me. Kenfei Ryu sighed. Qin Qingshan and Gao Chong also sighed. Qin Qingshan had been easily defeated by Lu Ming a few days ago. Initially, he was unhappy, but now he was convinced. As for Gao Chong, he felt lucky. Previously, he had wanted to teach Lu Ming a lesson. Now that he thought about it, his face burned. Impossible. In the crowd below, Wang Mia, Wang Mang, and the others shouted in disbelief. This brat, I want him dead. Murderous intent flashed in Wang Mang's eyes. Don't worry. Climbing the Heavenly King steel doesn't mean that you are strong. Kill him in the Heavenly King List battle. Cold light flashed in Wang Mia's eyes. At that moment, Xian Yanqing, who had been sitting cross-legged on the 18th step, suddenly stood up and stepped on the 19th step in front of everyone's shocked eyes. Xian Yanqing steadily stepped onto the 19th step, standing at the same level as Jiang Taishu. Before the crowd could react, Xian Yanqing took another step forward. With this step, she stepped on the 20th step. Her body trembled slightly, but her eyes were resolute. Another person stepped on the 20th step. Moreover, it was the female companion of Lu Ming. Almost everyone thought that she was Lu Ming's girlfriend. A golden boy and a jade girl both stepped on the 20th step. Everyone was stunned and thought that they were dreaming. This was too unbelievable. Since the opening of the Heavenly King's Steel, no one had stepped on the 20th step. Now, two of them had stepped on it. The coldness in Jiang Taishu's eyes intensified. Ha! It's so lively today. Let me join in the fun. A loud laughter sounded. Everyone looked over and saw a fat man with a waist as thick as a water tank. He wore a loose white robe, and his face was chubby. He was carrying an axe on his shoulder. The shaft of the axe was 2 meters long, and the body of the axe was as big as a door. In his other hand, he was holding a greasy lamb leg. He was munching on it as he descended and stepped on the stairs of the Heavenly King's Steel. Whoosh! At this moment, a beam of light flashed on the other side. A tall figure landed at the foot of the Heavenly King's Steel. This young man was wearing a gray robe and looked very ordinary. He was the kind of person who could be easily found in a sea of people. He descended and strode towards the stairs. The fat man and the ordinary young man climbed the stairs very quickly. They took one step at a time. Soon, they had reached the 11th step. However, they did not stop. They continued to climb up step by step. 17 steps, 18 steps, 19 steps. Everyone was dumbfounded. Where did these two geniuses come from? They were too terrifying. They had reached the 19th step in one go and were on par with Jiang Taishu. Nestle, this place is really uncomfortable. It hurts. No, I have to eat more meat to replenish my energy. The fat man shouted and gnawed on the lamb leg in his hand. Then, under everyone's gaze, he stepped on the 20th step. The ordinary young man also stepped onto the 20th step. Shocking, shocking. Countless people were dumbfounded and tongue-tied. What was going on today? Usually, very few people could reach the 20th step, but now so many people had appeared in one go. For people had reached the 20th step. More importantly, all 4 of them were unfamiliar faces. They were not on the list of top 1,000 talents. I can't take it anymore. I want to eat meat to replenish my energy. It hurts too much. The fat man yelled as he gnawed on the lamb leg. Surprisingly, he stood firmly on the 20th step. Lu Ming was speechless. The others were also speechless. Some people were even more indignant. It was too unfair that the fat man could reach the 20th step. That young man seems to be the rising talent of the Heavenly Corpse sect. He's called King Corpse. Chapter 739. Corpse King, what a strange name. It's said that this person has cultivated the Heavenly Corpse sect's God-tier cultivation method, the 9 Nether Corpse transformation art, to an extremely powerful level. His combat strength is extremely terrifying. The 9 Nether Corpse transformation art turns one's body into a divine corpse, invulnerable to weapons, water, and fire. There's nothing it can't break. It's extremely terrifying. This is a terrifying opponent. Many people were discussing. Some of the experts who were going to participate in the Heavenly King list secretly noted the Corpse King's name and tried to be as careful as possible when they met him in the future. At this time, Jiang Taishu's expression was extremely ugly. He glanced at the 4 people on the 20th step, and a murderous intent flashed in his eyes. Then he actually turned around, walked down the steps step by step, and then soared into the air and left. Beauty, how should I address you? I'm Kong Jin. The fatty took a few bites of the lamb leg, and a pair of beady eyes turned to Xian Yanqing. Get lost. Xian Yanqing only replied with one word. Beauty, why are you so fierce? Don't you just want to talk? Don't tell me you're already taken? Sigh, am I late again? Brother, Don't tell me it's you? The fatty sighed, and then looked at Lu Ming. What? Do you want to fight with me? Lu Ming asked. Fight? What fight? I have my principles when it comes to picking up girls. First, I won't pick up girls who are already taken. I won't fight with others for a girl who is already taken. How tiring would that be? The fatty chewed on the lamb leg and then looked at Xian Yanqing and said, Beauty, do you have any brothers or sisters? No, sisters? Introduce one to me. Get lost, Xian Yanqing said again. Look at you. Can't you speak properly? Brother, does your wife have a sister or sister? Introduce one to me? Kong Jin looked at Lu Ming again. Lu Ming was speechless. This fatty was really a weirdo. Did he come up here to find someone to introduce him to a girlfriend? In Lu Ming's mind, Xian Yanjuan's figure involuntarily appeared. He subconsciously said, She really does have an older sister who looks quite similar to her. What? Really? Brother, you have to help me. I've already decided that I'm going to conquer this beautiful sister. Fatty's eyes lit up. Then he took another bite of the lamb leg. Xian Yanqing's eyes flashed with a ferocious light as he fiercely squeezed out 2 words. I'm going to start cultivating. Lu Ming hurriedly sat cross-legged and closed his eyes, ignoring the outside world. Xian Yanqing gritted his teeth and sat down cross-legged. The fatty quickly finished eating the lamb leg. Then he carried the axe and sat down cross-legged, beginning to cultivate. The corpse king also began to cultivate. Before long, Lu Ming captured a trace of the concept of earth and started to comprehend it. His comprehension of the concept of earth increased by leaps and bounds. In the blink of an eye, another 7 days passed. Lu Ming finally cultivated the concept of earth to the peak of the 1st level. Now, he had 4 types of concepts. The concept of earth and concept of fire were both at the peak of the 1st level. The concept of wind and concept of thunder were both at the entry level of the 2nd level. Lu Ming's battle strength had increased by a large margin compared to when he had just arrived. At this time, the Heaven King ranking battle had officially begun. Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, and everyone else cultivating on the Heaven King steel steps went down the steps and headed north. Dozens of miles away, there was a huge plaza. The plaza was paved with some kind of black stone with complicated inscriptions carved on it. Around the plaza, there were more than 100,000 experts gathered. All of them were peak kings. Fatty Kong entered and followed Lu Ming like a shadow, constantly muttering that he wanted to introduce Xian Yanqing's sister to him. Lu Ming was now incomparably regretful, regretting the words he had blurted out earlier. Boom, boom. In the sky, a huge and terrifying pressure could be felt. 6 figures appeared in the sky. These 6 people were definitely extremely powerful experts. It was very likely that they were all in the spirit embryo realm. 3 from the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace and 3 from the Heavenly Corpse sect. Both sides would send out experts to preside over the Heaven King ranking battle. Spiritual Master, 3 corpses. Let's begin. Are you going to announce it, or should I? In the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace, a middle-aged man wearing a jade crown looked at the person in the middle of the 3 from the Heavenly Corpse sect. Hee, Dongfang Hao, you should do it. Spiritual Master, 3 corpses chuckled and didn't say anything else. Dongfang Hao nodded. He looked around and said, the Heavenly King ranking battle requires 2 rounds of preliminaries. Only the strongest people will be qualified to participate in the final battle. The first round of preliminaries will be held in this square. After speaking, Dongfang Hao waved his hands, and inscriptions entered the ground of the plaza. The inscriptions on the ground glowed, and in the next moment, shields appeared in the plaza. The shields were arranged in rows. In each row, there were 36 shields. There were a total of 18 rows. You should be able to see that there are 36 shields in each row. Get on the stage and attack the shields. Only those who can break through 9 of them will pass and move on to the next round. Now let's begin. Dongfang Hao announced, Let me do it. Me too. In an instant, 18 people went up to the plaza. There were a total of 18 rows. Each time, 18 people could take the test at the same time. Boom, boom. Activating their true essences, various intent realms were released. The 18 people made their moves one after another. The shields shattered one by one. Break. Lu Ming saw a burly man punching out with both fists. Fiery fist auras were blasted out, and the shields kept shattering. However, the moment the shields shattered, they seemed to produce a powerful force that struck back at him. The further one went, the harder it was for the shields to shatter. Furthermore, the force of the counterattack was also stronger. Bam! Bam! The burly man's figure kept retreating. In the end, he roared and punched with all his might, shattering the 9th shield. However, at the same time, his body also retreated rapidly and spat out a mouthful of blood. Shattering 9 shields, you pass. You, shattering 6 shields, fail, eliminated. Dongfang Hao began to announce, out of the 18 people who went up, only 6 of them managed to shatter 9 shields. Those who passed, the success rate was only 1/3. The person with the highest score managed to shatter 11 shields. Next group. Dongfang Hao announced. Immediately, another 18 people flew up into the sky, and the shattered shields were reformed. That's Jiang Taishu. Jiang Taishu went up. Among the 18 people, one person attracted everyone's attention. Jiang Taishu, the genius of the Jiang family, one of the 6 ancient families. He was ranked 6th in the previous 10 heavenly kings. Now, the top 4 of the 10 heavenly kings had all stepped into the Sea of Soul Realm. Jiang Taishu was the most likely candidate to compete for the strongest king title this time. Jiang Taishu was as still as a mountain. His body emitted a terrifying sharpness that was incomparably sharp, as if it could cut through everything. Chapter 740. Break. Jiang Taishu whispered. His palm was like a sword as he slashed forward. Boom. Boom. In an instant, 9 shields exploded, but that was not all. The 10th, 11th, and 12th shields exploded. In the blink of an eye, 18 shields exploded. Break again. Jiang Taishu shouted. His aura became even sharper as he slashed out again. This time, the crowd seemed to see a saber slashing forward. Bang! Bang! One shield after another exploded. The powerful astral wind and qi were sent flying back. However, Jiang Taishu did not move at all. He continued to attack, shattering everything. In the end, a total of 28 shields were shattered. Jiang Taishu shattered 28 of the 36 shields, which was an amazing result. No one at the King Realm had ever been able to shatter all 36 shields. In this round of 18 people, other than Jiang Taishu, the strongest person had only managed to break 12 shields. The gap was too big. Following that, 18 people took turns in a row, 18 people took turns in a row, and more people went up. But the success rate was only about 1/3. Many people who failed shook their heads and sighed. They were not fated to be on the Heavenly King list this time. Gao Chang was ranked last on the list of top 1,000 talents. As he had lost an arm, his combat power was reduced, and he only managed to shatter 12 shields. Qin Qingshan had shattered 16 pieces. Wang Meng shattered 20 shields. Wang Nie was very strong. He shattered 24 shields, which was only 4 shields away from Jiang Taishu. But the further one went, the harder the shields became. It was too difficult to shatter them. One shield was a big gap. A day later, More than half of the hundreds of thousands of people had taken turns. Among them, there were a few amazing experts who attracted Lu Ming's attention. Like Jiang Taishu, all of them had shattered 28 shields. Lu Ming knew from the others that these people were either geniuses from the 6 ancient families or experts from the Heavenly Corpse sect. They were also geniuses in the previous 10 Heavenly Kings. There were 5 of them in the previous 10 Heavenly Kings, including Jiang Taishu. There was no doubt that these 5 people were absolutely extraordinarily terrifying. They were the 10 Heavenly Kings during the last competition, and then they'd stayed at the peak of the King realm for 3 years. So, how terrifying would their combat strengths be? It wasn't that these people couldn't break through to the spiritual sea realm. They could do so at any time. They just wanted to accumulate more and be stronger. Once they broke through to the spiritual sea realm, there was no doubt that their cultivation would improve rapidly and reach a new height in a short time. Of course, the others did not break so many pieces, but it did not mean that there were no masters who could compete with Jiang Taishu and the others. It was normal for some people to hide their strength. Anyway, as long as they broke 9 pieces, they could pass. The 28 pieces that Jiang Taishu and the others had shattered might not be their limit. Lu Ming and the others were at the back of the queue. It was only their turn the next day. Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, Kenfei Ryu, and Fatty Kong Jin stepped onto the square together. Everyone's eyes turned to look at them, especially Fatty Kong Jin, Xian Yanqing, and Lu Ming, because the 3 of them had reached the 20th step. Boom. Lu Ming was very straightforward. He punched out. A ray of fist radiance shot out and hit the shields. The shields shattered one by one. Sure enough, the further the shields went, the harder they became, and the harder they were to break. Every time a shield shattered, a strong force would hit back at Lu Ming. With a single punch, the 9 shields exploded. That's enough. Lu Ming smiled faintly and did not continue attacking. He looked to the side and found that Xian Yanqing had also shattered 9 pieces and stopped. The 2 of them looked at each other and smiled. Anyway, 9 pieces were enough to pass. What was the point of shattering so many? The rest of the people present were speechless. Originally, they wanted to see Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing's attack power. Unexpectedly, the 2 of them stopped after smashing 9 pieces. This made many people feel depressed. Obviously, the 2 of them did not use their full strength. They just wanted to pass. Of course, there were people who disagreed. Maybe their attacking power is not high, and they dare not use their full strength. That's why they shattered 9 shields. They are deliberately mystifying and attracting attention. Someone snorted and did not think highly of Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing. At this time, there was a commotion. Lu Ming turned his head and saw Fatty Kong Jin, who was triumphant. In front of him, 28 pieces were shattered. No wonder everyone was so surprised. To be able to shatter 28 shields, his attacking power was comparable to Jiang Taishu and the others. Who's this Fatty? I've never seen him before. Where did this peerless genius come from? I've never seen him before either. Maybe he's a disciple secretly taken in by a peerless powerhouse. There are too many geniuses now. Fatty Kong Jin looked around with a big axe on his shoulder. He grinned and looked very pleased with himself. Soon, this group of people was finished, and the next group of people was replaced. Corpse King. In this group, the Corpse King went up. Everyone's eyes were fixed on the Corpse King. The Corpse King was also a person who stepped on the 20th step. Boom. The Corpse King was very straightforward. He directly punched out. The terrifying fist force shattered the shields in front of him one by one. After a few punches, 28 shields were shattered. At this time, he suddenly stopped. This guy's strength is not bad. I feel that he didn't use his full strength. Interesting. Fatty Kong Jean stood beside Lu Ming and stared at the corpse king with sparkling eyes. His eyes were full of fighting spirit. The next moment, a leg of an unknown beast appeared in his hand, and he began to gnaw on it. Lu Ming was speechless and did not bother to pay attention to him. As time passed, people went up and down in batches. After a day, all the tests were over. A total of 120,000 people participated in the test, and only about 40,000 passed. It was obvious how difficult it was. One had to know that those who could come here were all peak-level kings. Many of them had good battle strength among peak-level kings. Many of them were old fellows who had cultivated for hundreds of years. All right, the first round of the test is over. Those who passed the first round will go with us to the other heavenly king stele. Dongfang Hao announced. Then Taoist Master 3 corpses and the rest of the heavenly corpse sect flew towards the north. Lu Ming and the rest followed. There were a total of 2 heavenly king steles. They had seen one of them before. The other one was the place where the final battle of the heavenly king rankings took place. In front of them was an abyss that was 10 miles wide. On the other side, there was a huge stone stele that stood there. It was 1,000 meters tall and a few hundred meters wide. It was simple and unadorned. This was the second heavenly king stele. Under this abyss, there is a peerless killing formation. If you fall, you will die without a doubt. The entire abyss is filled with astral winds, making it extremely difficult to fly. The final battle will be inside the heavenly king stele. The stele is a world of its own. Later, the heavenly king stele will shine. At that time, you can rush in. However, the heavenly king stele's light will only last for half an hour. You need to fly over this abyss and rush into the heavenly king stele. Those who fail to do so will be eliminated. Chapter 741. As soon as he said that, many people's eyes flickered, and some of them looked serious. This should be the final test. Although it looked simple, it was extremely dangerous. In the time it took for an incense stick to burn, they had to cross 10 miles of the abyss. The key was that there were more than 40,000 people, and it was too crowded. Everyone had to charge forward bravely to reach the Sky King's monument. Therefore, in this process, there was bound to be a fierce battle. They had to fight for the front to have a chance to reach the Sky King's monument. Just like that, everyone waited. This wait lasted for half a day. Buzz! Suddenly, the Sky King's monument shook and shone with a bright light. Begin. Dongfang Hao announced. Swoosh! Swoosh! As soon as Dongfang Hao's voice fell, countless figures rose into the air and flew towards the Sky King's monument. Let's go! Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, Kenfei Ryu, and the others also rose into the air and flew forward. Whoosh whoosh! As soon as they flew above the abyss, a strong wind blew in the abyss. The wind was extremely sharp, and it was like a sharp knife slashing towards the crowd. Not good. Some people's faces changed, and they were caught off guard. They were almost seriously injured and fell into the abyss. They quickly used their true origin to resist. Lu Ming and the others also used their true origin to block the surrounding wind. However, their speed was undoubtedly much slower. The abyss that could be crossed in the blink of an eye would take a lot more time. Swoosh! Swoosh! Everyone stabilized their bodies and broke through the wind, moving forward quickly. Get lost, don't block the way. Someone roared and attacked the people in front. You're courting death. The people in front roared, and a great battle broke out. Get lost, get out of the way. Loud roars rose and fell. Everyone wanted to be in the front. Only then would they have the confidence to reach the Sky King's monument in the time it took for an incense stick to burn. Above the abyss, a dazzling light burst out. Ah! Someone screamed and fell into the abyss. Suddenly, a sword light flashed in the abyss, and that person was cut in half. His corpse fell into the abyss. There was a supreme killing array below, and those who fell would die. Die, brat! Suddenly, a cold killing intent surged towards Lu Ming's group. At the same time, numerous attacks enveloped Lu Ming's group. Wang Mie, Wang Meng, you're courting death. Lu Ming's eyes flashed with killing intent. The ones who had attacked them were Wang Mie, Wang Meng, and some other elders. These elders were all extremely powerful. They were clearly the experts of the Wang family. Boom, boom. Lu Ming and the others erupted with power, blocking the attacks from all sides. Motherfucker, how dare you sneak attack me? You're courting death. Fatty Kong Jean roared and swung his axe, destroying everything in its path. 5 elders were enveloped by the fatty's axe. Xian Yanqing waved her jade-white hand and enveloped the 5 old men. As for Kenfei Ryu, he was facing the 2 elders alone. You too, stay here. Lu Ming knocked back the 2 elders with a punch and charged towards Wang Mie and Wang Meng. Their expressions changed drastically. They had sent out more than 10 experts of the Wang family, but they were all held back by Xian Yanqing's group. This was beyond their expectations. Humph, brat, this abyss will be your burial ground. Let's attack together and kill him. Wang Mie snorted coldly. His murderous intent was sharp. Together with Wang Meng, he charged toward Lu Ming. In addition, the other 2 elders also charged towards Lu Ming. Die! The infinite dragon spear appeared, and a spear light shot out. It contained the 2nd level wind concept and the 2nd level thunder concept. It was too fast and too terrifying. Puff, puff. 2 large holes appeared in the chests of the 2 elders. They were pierced by Lu Ming's spear light and fell into the abyss with miserable screams. Boom! Lu Ming's spear swept out horizontally. Wang Mie and Wang Meng trembled and retreated quickly. Wang Mie was fine, but fear flashed in Wang Meng's eyes. He spat out large mouthfuls of blood. The bones in one of his arms were completely shattered. How can he be so strong? It's best to leave. Wang Mie turned and left without thinking. Not good. Wang Meng was alarmed when he saw Wang Mie turn and run. It was too late for him to leave. Lu Ming stepped forward and stabbed out with his spear. The spear light was extremely resplendent. No, Wang Meng roared and tried his best to block. However, Lu Ming's strength had improved greatly and reached a terrifying level. Wang Meng couldn't stop him at all. Puchi! The spear pierced through Wang Meng's chest. With a tremor, Wang Meng's corpse fell into the abyss. Lu Ming, you dare to kill my Wang family's genius? You're dead. Wang Mie roared in front, but he didn't dare to stay. Lu Ming's combat strength was too strong. He realized that he wasn't Lu Ming's match at all. If he stayed, only death would await him. I'll definitely kill you in the Sky King steel. Lu Ming shouted coldly. At this time, the old men who besieged Xian Yanqing and the others were either dead or running away. They suffered heavy losses. On the side, the others were shocked when they saw Lu Ming and the others' terrifying combat strength. They didn't dare to attack them at all. The 4 of them worked together and rushed forward. The people in front of them were directly sent flying. Lu Ming looked around and found that Jiang Taishu, the Corpse King, and some of the strongest people had already rushed to the front. Those who blocked them were all killed in one move. In the end, they rushed into the Sky King's steel and disappeared. After a little more than half an incense stick's time, Lu Ming and the others also rushed into the Sky King's steel and disappeared. Soon, half an incense stick's time passed. The light on the Sky King's steel disappeared. Those who rushed there couldn't enter the Sky King's steel anymore. They could only sigh outside and fly back to the other side of the abyss. They had lost their chance. At least a few thousand people fell into the abyss, and about 10,000 people rushed into the Sky King's steel. The others stayed outside. Including those who were eliminated in the first round, there were more than 100,000 people gathered at the edge of the abyss. Let's see what's going on inside, Dongfang Hao said. Then he joined forces with spiritual master Three Corpses. Rays of light entered the Sky King's steel. In the next moment, an image appeared on the Sky King's steel. That's Jiang Taishu. In the image, Jiang Taishu was flying rapidly in the sky above an empty land. At this time, Dongfang Hao waved his hand, and the image changed into another image. A young man in a red robe killed an old man with a punch. Above his and the old man's heads, there was a phantom of a steel. There were 3 chi in the steel. At this time, the chi of the steel above the old man's head flew to the red-robed young man. The steel above the red-robed young man's head turned into 6 chi. That's Wang Ju, the genius of the Wang family. He was ranked 8th in the previous Sky King steel. Many people recognized the young man. At this time, Dongfang Hao waved his hand again, and the image changed again. The Sky King steel could actually show the image inside. Chapter 742. Everyone who entered would have a Sky King's tablet image appear above their heads and 3 streams of chi, known as tablet chi. As long as they killed or defeated others, they would be able to snatch their opponent's tablet chi. Once all 3 streams of tablet chi were snatched away, they would be transported out. The final ranking was determined by the amount of tablet chi they had. In the Heavenly King Monument world, there was only a total of 3 days. In other words, within these 3 days, one had to obtain as much monument chi as possible. After the 3 days were up, the person with the most monument chi would be ranked first on the Heavenly King ranking. As for the 108 people with the most monument chi, they would be the final 108 people. Therefore, these 3 days were destined to be cruel. There would be endless battles. If they found a place to hide, they wouldn't be able to get the final spot. Xian Yanqing, Kenfei Ryu, and the others weren't nearby. It was obvious that they had been randomly scattered to different places when they entered. I heard that you can't use the inscription Dao in the Sky King's tablet world. Let's give it a try. Lu Ming waved his hands and started to inscribe inscriptions on the ground. Inscriptions flew into the ground one by one. However, in the next moment, the inscriptions dissipated and couldn't stick to the ground. Next, Lu Ming tried to inscribe inscriptions on himself. However, the result was the same. He couldn't stop the inscriptions, and they dissipated. Indeed, in here, one can only rely on one's martial cultivation, and not the inscription Dao. Lu Ming pondered. Io, let me out for some fresh air. Dandan had climbed onto Lu Ming's shoulder again. Previously, Lu Ming had stuffed him into the Temple of Paragon. Dandan, you'd better return to the Temple of Paragon. This place is extremely mysterious. I'm afraid there are important people watching. Don't blame me if they catch you and cook you. Lu Ming stuffed the unwilling Dandan back into the Temple of Paragon. Afterward, Lu Ming randomly chose a direction, soared into the air, and flew into the distance. Hand over your monument chi. Not long after, Lu Ming ran into an old man. Unexpectedly, when the old man saw Lu Ming, he turned and ran. Lu Ming chased after him. With Lu Ming's 9 dragons heaven-stomping steps, how fast was his speed? In just a few moments, Zhang Xian caught up to the old man, and with a punch, the old man spurted a mouthful of blood. I'll give you all my monument chi. Don't kill me! The old man cried out in fear. He sighed inwardly at his bad luck. He didn't expect to run into a monster like Lu Ming as soon as he entered. The old man stopped and no longer resisted. He knew that if Lu Ming wanted to kill him, he would not be able to resist. Lu Ming strode forward and shattered the Sky King's monument's shadow above the elder's head with a single palm strike. The 3 strands of monument chi above the elder's head all flew into Lu Ming's Sky King's monument's shadow. At this moment, a beam of light enveloped the old man. In the next moment, the old man's figure disappeared and appeared outside. After Lu Ming obtained the 3 steel chi, he continued flying in search of his next prey. With only 3 days left, he had to make the best use of his time. In the next 3 hours, Lu Ming encountered 7 people consecutively. One of them resisted with all his might and was killed by Lu Ming. The other 6 surrendered and obediently gave up their monument chi. Lu Ming's monument chi increased to 27 strands. Outside, the crowd stared at the Sky King's monument. The images on it were constantly changing. Looks like the strongest group of people this time must be the young ones. No matter how long the older generation has cultivated, their talents are still limited. It's hard for them to compete with the peerless geniuses. That's right. This time, there are even more geniuses. Not only the top 10, but the top 20 will also be taken by the young geniuses. As you can see, Jiang Taishu, Wang Ju, the Zombie King, and the others are almost invincible. Hey, look, that's Lu Ming. In front of him are the 2 old fogies from the Sky Corpse sect. At this moment, the image suddenly flashed and Lu Ming's figure appeared. At this moment, Lu Ming was flying forward. On a mountain peak, not far away from him, 2 old men were hiding. Their bodies were emitting a cold aura. The 2 old fogies from the Sky Corpse sect are extremely powerful. They are the most likely candidates to fight for the top 108. This is interesting. Lu Ming is going to be ambushed. Many people widened their eyes and looked at the image on the Sky King's monument. Dongfang Hao did not change the image. He seemed to be interested too. Lu Ming naturally did not know that there were 2 experts waiting for him in front. He was flying forward at an extremely fast speed. Suddenly, 2 black shadows flashed rapidly. 2 sharp beams of light slashed toward Lu Ming. Lu Ming raised his eyebrows. Spear light condensed and swept towards the 2 black figures. With a loud bang, Lu Ming's figure shook slightly. The 2 figures also retreated. Refined corpses. Lu Ming could tell at a glance that it was 2 refined corpses that attacked him. The 2 refined corpses were majestic and tall. They wore black armor and held 2 black battle swords in their hands. A blood-red light flashed in their eyes. Hee, it's that kid called Lu Ming, the genius who stepped on the 20th step of the Sky King's monument. With a faint sneer, 2 figures in black robes appeared beside the 2 refined corpses. They were 2 old men. They were so thin that only bones were left. They looked like 2 skeletons and were extremely eerie. The difference was that one of them was emitting a strong corpse aura, while the other was emitting a ghostly aura. Hee, such a genius has endless potential. We must kill him now. Otherwise, he will be a great disaster for the Sky Corpse sect in the future. The old man with ghostly aura sneered. Just you 2 old fogies? Lu Ming smiled faintly. Kid, your battle strength is not bad. I'm afraid that any one of us is no match for you. However, with the 2 of us working together, do you think you have a chance? The old man with ghostly aura grinned. In the next moment, a huge shrub appeared under his feet. The coffin opened, and a dozen refined corpses flew out. Each of the refined corpses wore black armor and held black battle swords. Their auras were extremely powerful. Although these refined corpses were only peak kings, they were extremely powerful. They were much stronger than ordinary peak kings. This could be seen from the two refined corpses that had ambushed them. However, this old man could control so many refined corpses of peak kings. It was terrifying. Attack! The old man with ghostly aura roared. The dozen refined corpses roared and pounced at Lu Ming. At the same time, the old man with ghostly aura also moved. He punched out, and a ghostly howl filled the air. A black fist light flew towards Lu Ming. Strong. These two old men were very strong. They were the kind of old monsters that had cultivated for hundreds of years. I'll kill you first. With a sweep of his spear, 3 refined corpses were sent flying. At the same time, he punched out with his left hand to cancel out the ghostly old man's fist light. Then, he strode towards the old man with ghostly aura. "Want to kill me? Die." The old man with ghostly aura revealed a cold smile. He controlled the remaining refined corpses to surround Lu Ming. "I can't be bothered to waste my time with you." Lu Ming put away the infinite dragon spear and used the exploding star fist. In an instant, he threw out hundreds of punches. Each fist light was infused with the 3 intents of wind, fire, and lightning, especially the 2 intents of wind and lightning, which had reached the 2nd level. Its power was terrifying. Chapter 743. Pung, pung. Dense bursting sounds rang out as more than a dozen refined corpses exploded. Lu Ming strode towards the old man. How could this be? The old man was shocked. More than a dozen indestructible refined corpses were all blown up by Lu Ming. How could Lu Ming's attack power be so terrifying? His heart trembled. Not good. Retreat. The old man roared in his heart. He wanted to escape, but it was obviously too late. The bursting fist radiance instantly drowned him. In the next moment, 3 strands of steel chi flew into Lu Ming's Heavenly King Steel Phantom. On the other side, the ghostly old man was almost scared out of his wits and fled frantically. A spear radiance pierced through the void and nailed him in the air. Outside, many people gasped when they saw the scene on the Heavenly King Steel. This Lu Ming is too terrifying. 2 extremely powerful old monsters of the Heavenly Corpse sect were actually killed by him. The gap is too big. It's a complete crush. In my opinion, Lu Ming's combat strength has reached the peak level. He's not much different from Jiang Taishu, Wang Ju, and the others. He can even contend with them. Terrifying, really terrifying. Obviously, Lu Ming's combat strength shocked everyone. At this moment, Dongfang Hao waved his hand, and the scene changed again. Next, as time passed, they would see strong battles from time to time. Some experts who were originally favored and had hopes of rushing into the top 108 also clashed. Some died in battle, some were seriously injured and fled. The most eye-catching ones were some young geniuses, Jiang Taishu, Wang Ju, and the others who were the top 10 heavenly kings in the previous competition. Needless to say, their combat strength was well known. In addition, Xian Yinqing, Fatty Kong Jin, King Corpse, and other rising geniuses were also incomparably powerful. There were experts who died in their hands one after another, including Lu Ming. There was no doubt that this time, the top 10 would be born from these people. In a flash, half a day had passed. Lu Ming's gains were also increasing. His Heavenly King's Steel Phantom already had 150 strands of steel chi. Look, Jiang Taishu and Lu Ming are getting closer and closer. It won't be long before they meet. Someone suddenly shouted from outside. Dongfang, Hao, and the Reverend 3 Corpses seemed to want the crowd to see more clearly. They switched the images of Lu Ming and Jiang Taishu. The crowd could see that the two were flying towards each other. They seemed to be getting closer and closer. It wouldn't be long before they met. Everyone's heartbeat quickened. Could it be that these two geniuses were going to meet so soon? Everyone was looking forward to seeing what would happen when the two of them met. Lu Ming quickly flew forward in search of prey. Suddenly, his eyes narrowed as a figure appeared in front of him. Jiang Taishu. Jiang Taishu strolled through the void and also discovered Lu Ming. His eyes gleamed with sharpness as a powerful aura bloomed from his body. Lu Ming, it's your bad luck to meet me. If you let me take your steel chi, you might still have a chance to live. Jiang Taishu stood in front of Lu Ming and said flatly, "Is that so? I want your steel chi too." Lu Ming licked his lips. There were definitely more than 200 strands of steel chi in Jiang Taishu's Heavenly King's steel phantom. Lu Ming was very tempted. "Haha, you want my steel chi? You really don't know your place. Let me tell you, the higher you climb on the Heavenly King's steel, the stronger your combat strength will be. Fine, I'll kill you today, and let the world know what a real genius is." Jiang Taishu's eyes were filled with strong killing intent. The sharpness on his body was even stronger. He was like a peerless divine weapon that could cut through everything. Previously, on the Heavenly King's steel steps, Jiang Taishu had warned Lu Ming not to step on the 20th step. However, Lu Ming had ignored him. Who was Jiang Taishu? He was actually ignored by Lu Ming. At that moment, he wanted to kill Lu Ming. Now that they had met, how could he let Lu Ming go? It's said that the Jiang family cultivates a god-level cultivation technique, the immemorial mystical weapon art. I'd like to see it for myself. Lu Ming's eyes were filled with strong fighting intent. Jiang Taishu represented one of the strongest kings. He was very curious about what level he was at now. The battle is about to start. Outside, the crowd was also very excited as they stared at the screen above. Lu Ming and Jiang Taishu had indeed met. Judging from the situation, the battle was about to start. They were looking forward to this peak battle. Who do you think will win the battle between Lu Ming and Jiang Taishu? In my opinion, it will most likely be Jiang Taishu. After all, Jiang Taishu is a veteran expert. 3 years ago, he was already extremely terrifying. In the past 3 years, he must have become even more terrifying and stronger. His goal is to become the first on the Heavenly King's steel. That's right. Although Lu Ming is a peerless genius with terrifying talent and potential, his foundation is still lacking. He can't possibly be Jiang Taishu's opponent. Now, we'll see how many moves he can take from Jiang Taishu and whether he will be killed. The crowd was discussing intensely. In the heavenly steel world, clang, the sound of metal clashing could be heard from Jiang Taishu's body. A terrifying aura was emitted from his body, as if it could tear everything apart. You'll see, but the price is death. Jiang Taishu stepped out and slashed his palm towards Lu Ming. In Lu Ming's eyes, this palm was like a heavenly blade that could split everything apart. True Yuan erupted as Lu Ming punched out. Berserk, true essence gathered in this fist and burst out. Lu Ming's fist collided with Jiang Taishu's palm. A dull roar resounded between heaven and earth. Both of their bodies trembled and retreated. Jiang Taishu, fight with me. Don't try to test me. Go all out. Lu Ming said with bright eyes. Then I'll fulfill your wish. Clang, clang. At this moment, as if thousands of weapons were clashing, Jiang Taishu's aura became sharper and more terrifying. The shattering essence. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. The essence that Jiang Taishu had comprehended was the shattering essence, an extremely terrifying essence. It was similar to Xian Yanqing's destruction essence, which was inclined towards attacking. Its destructive power was extremely terrifying and could shatter everything. Moreover, Jiang Taishu had cultivated the shattering essence to an extremely terrifying level 2 lower tier. Yes, Jiang Taishu's shattering essence had reached level 2 lower tier. Coupled with the immemorial mystical armament that Jiang Taishu cultivated, the combination was absolutely terrifying. Kill! Jiang Taishu shouted as he stepped forward. His arm was like a sword as it slashed towards Lu Ming. The wind and thunder essences burst out as the battle dragon True Yuan circulated rapidly. Lu Ming punched out again. Boom! A terrifying vibration resounded as the ground was bombarded by a terrifying force. Huge craters appeared one after another. The two figures trembled for a moment before stabilizing themselves. That Lu Ming is so strong. He can actually block Jiang Taishu. The spectators outside were shocked. Chapter 744. Kill. Jiang Taishu's eyes grew colder. He had to win today. He had to kill Lu Ming. His goal was to be the strongest king, to be number one. How could he be stopped by Lu Ming from the beginning? Jiang Taishu's entire body had turned into numerous divine weapons, which were indestructible and invincible. Lu Ming combined the two second-level essences of wind and thunder, and with his powerful genuine essence, he fought with Jiang Taishu with the exploding star fist. The two turned into two rays of light and kept bombarding each other. It was terrifying. The nearby mountains were destroyed, and the earth exploded. It was like doomsday. Outside, it was silent. Everyone held their breath and watched with wide eyes. In the blink of an eye, Lu Ming and Jiang Taishu had exchanged more than 50 blows. Gosh, what kind of combat strength is this? It's too terrifying. Is he still in the king realm? Ordinary martial artists at the first level of the spiritual sea realm can't take more than a few blows from him. It's too terrifying. This is a peerless talent with their foundation. Once they break through the spiritual sea realm, they will advance by leaps and bounds. In the battle of fortune, they may be able to compete with the top 300 or even the top 200 geniuses on the list of top 1,000 talents. Many people were discussing in shock. Jiang Taishu had entered the 10 Kings 3 years ago. If he had broken through the spiritual sea realm earlier, he would have been ranked in the top 300. Boom, boom. Lu Ming and Jiang Taishu exchanged more than 10 blows in a row, shattering a mountain. They were separated in the void. In addition to shock, Jiang Taishu's eyes were filled with killing intent and anger. He didn't expect to be stopped by Lu Ming. Clang, clang. The sound of weapons vibrating could be heard. Above Jiang Taishu's head, a huge mountain appeared. This mountain was made of bare rocks, and there were weapons of all kinds stuck on it. 9 silver chakras were extremely bright. This was Jiang Taishu's bloodline. Kill! Jiang Taishu waved his hand, and the endless weapons on the mountain flew into his body. His aura was stronger, and there was even a metallic luster on his skin. Bang! He stepped into the void and charged towards Lu Ming. Looks like he has finally used his strongest combat strength. That's good too. This battle should end soon. Lu Ming whispered. The prison-suppressing steel's bloodline erupted. Lu Ming stepped forward and struck out with his palm. Hell-suppressing heaven skill. There seemed to be a hell-suppressing steel in his palm that could suppress the 9 underworld. Hell. Dong. Lu Ming's palm collided with Jiang Taishu's palm. At the place where the two of them exchanged blows, the space vibrated violently, producing ripples that spread in all directions like water waves. Then, the crowd saw a figure retreating at an extremely fast speed. Jiang Taishu. The retreating figure was actually Jiang Taishu. One of his arms was trembling nonstop, and his palm was even somewhat distorted. Those who saw this scene could hardly believe their eyes. The ancient Jiang clan cultivated the art of the immemorial divine armament, and their bodies were even tougher than spirit weapons. Every move they made was filled with boundless power, capable of destroying everything. But now, in a head-on confrontation, he was actually suppressed by Lu Ming. His palm was injured, and he was at a disadvantage. Impossible. Jiang Taishu roared at the sky in disbelief. What's impossible? You're strong, but I'm stronger. Lu Ming stepped forward and continued to attack. Lu Ming, you must die. Jiang Taishu roared and attacked again. But after a few moves, his body retreated rapidly. His arms were severely deformed, and even his bones were shattered. He spat out blood. You want to kill me? Then I'll kill you. Lu Ming strode forward with a murderous look in his eyes. Outside, the crowd was shocked. Lu Ming not only defeated Jiang Taishu, but also wanted to kill him. Jiang Taishu was a rare genius of the Jiang clan. In the future, he was a promising candidate for the throne of the Jiang clan. Lu Ming wanted to kill him. How dare he? Bang! Jiang Taishu was no match for Lu Ming at all. He was sent flying by Lu Ming and coughed up blood. At least 7 or 8 bones in his body were broken. Lu Ming, if you dare to kill me, the Jiang clan won't let you off. Jiang Taishu roared. Ha! You're a genius of the ancient Jiang clan. You've lost, but you still have the cheek to use your clan to suppress me. Now that the Battle of Providence is about to begin, do you think the elders of the Jiang clan dare to deal with me? Lu Ming laughed loudly. He was fearless. For a large clan like the Jiang clan, if a descendant of the Jiang clan lost in a competition among peers, the elders would not intervene because they did not have the face to do so. In large clans, the competition was even crueler. Not only did they have to compete with their own clan, but they also had to compete with the geniuses of other forces. Only then could they be qualified to inherit the clan. Damn it! Jiang Taishu roared and retreated frantically, trying to escape. He had to escape. He had to escape and gather the other experts of the Jiang clan in the Heavenly King Monument world to kill Lu Ming. You can't escape. Lu Ming chased after him. He had always been decisive in his actions. Since he had offended someone, he would kill them. Young Master Taishu, hurry up and leave. We'll stop him. 3 sharp lights suddenly flew over from afar and blasted toward Lu Ming. They were 3 elders. They were like 3 divine weapons that were extremely terrifying. Without a doubt, they were the 3 powerful old monsters of the Jiang clan. Jiang Taishu was overjoyed. He used a secret technique and frantically fled forward. You're courting death. Lu Ming's eyes turned cold. He instantly threw out 2 palms and a kick. The 3 elders flew backward and coughed up blood. Their eyes were full of shock. The 3 of them had all cultivated the immemorial mystical weapon art for more than 500 years. They were definitely the top experts among the peak-level kings. They could kill ordinary peak-level kings with a wave of their hands. However, the 3 of them coughed up blood because of Lu Ming's attack. It was too terrifying. Kill. Lu Ming used the 9 dragons' sky-stomping steps and flashed past like a phantom. He threw out a palm strike. Pung! One of the elders was torn into pieces. All of his monument chi was absorbed by Lu Ming. Then, his figure didn't stop as he continued to kill. Soon, the other 2 elders followed in his footsteps. The 3 elders each had close to 100 monument chi. This way, Lu Ming's monument chi had increased to more than 400. Unfortunately, Jiang Taishu escaped. Lu Ming looked in the direction Jiang Taishu had escaped. His eyes were like lightning. At this moment, Jiang Taishu had already run off to who knows where. Lu Ming stepped forward and continued to search for prey, while refining the essence blood. The essence blood's energy was all transferred to his second bloodline. Since the higher the level of the suppressing prison steel bloodline, the stronger the suppressing prison skill would be, Lu Ming planned to upgrade it first. In the outside world, countless people were shocked. Jiang Taishu, the genius who had been favored the most and had the highest chance of winning, had been defeated so early. Chapter 745. Could it be that Lu Ming will get first place this time? It's possible, but I wonder if there are any other dark horses. For example, the Corpse King of the Heavenly Corpse Sect and that fatty. They're both terrifying and unfathomable. The other 10 Heavenly Kings are also terrifying. No one knows how strong they are in the past few years. Maybe they're even stronger than Jiang Taishu. Moreover, it's not a one-on-one battle in the Heavenly Monument world. It's hard to say who will get first place. Lu Ming's actions caused a commotion. Half an hour later, Jiang Taishu appeared a few 100,000 miles away. He coughed out another mouthful of blood as soon as he appeared. Lu Ming, I'll kill you. Jiang Taishu let out a low growl from his throat. He was extremely angry. He had actually lost to Lu Ming. He couldn't believe it and couldn't accept it. This time, he was ambitious and was determined to get first place. However, he had lost to Lu Ming on the first day. This was a huge blow to him. He hated Lu Ming to the core and wanted Lu Ming dead. Lu Ming, no matter how strong you are, you're only one person. I'll gather the other experts of the Jiang family and kill you. The first place will be mine this time. Jiang Taishu's eyes flashed with malice and killing intent. Ha! Jiang Taishu, why are you in such a sorry state? Were you besieged by the Heavenly Corpse Sect? A burst of laughter could be heard as two figures stepped through the void and arrived. Wang Ju. Jiang Taishu's eyes flashed. Wang Ju, a member of the ancient Wang family. He was ranked 8th in the previous Heavenly King ranking. Wang Mie was beside Wang Ju, but he was ignored by Jiang Taishu. What? Wang Ju, are you trying to steal my monument aura while I'm injured? Jiang Taishu looked at Wang Ju cautiously. Ha, brother Jiang, what kind of person do you think I am? Even if I want to fight with you, I won't take advantage of the situation. Why? Are you really besieged by the Heavenly Corpse Sect? Wang Ju asked. It's not the Heavenly Corpse Sect. Jiang Taishu shook his head and said, if I told you that I was defeated by a single person, would you believe me? What? Was it Wanzhan, Dongfang Yu, or Gui Yi? Wang Ju's expression drastically changed. He quickly said a few names. These people were all as famous as them. They were all extremely powerful. Jiang Taishu shook his head and said, no, he's a new genius called Lu Ming. Wang Ju, I suggest we team up. Otherwise, we won't be a match for him alone. Lu Ming? Wang Ju's eyes flickered. Lu Ming, it's him? At the side, Wang Mie's expression changed drastically. Oh, I forgot that you guys seem to have a grudge with that Lu Ming. Jiang Taishu's eyes flickered. Lu Ming, that little bastard, is actually this powerful? Wang Mie couldn't believe it. Hee, there's nothing to lie about. You're just lucky. If Lu Ming used his full strength, he would only need a few moves to kill you. Jiang Taishu looked at Wang Mie and chuckled. I really didn't expect you to be defeated by Lu Ming in a head-on battle. Wang Ju's expression was extremely serious. He and Jiang Taishu were competitors, so he knew how terrifying Jiang Taishu was. If even Jiang Taishu was defeated, then he might not be a match for him either. This person's existence is a huge obstacle to our goal of fighting for first place. Apart from first place, what's the difference between the other ranks? Jiang Taishu said. Oh, you want to team up and eliminate Lu Ming together? Wang Ju said. Yes, you can team up and gather the other experts of the Jiang and Wang families. Also, Don't some of Lu Ming's friends also come? His girlfriend is very beautiful. And those trash from the Golden Sword sect, as long as we take them down, Lu Ming will definitely be cautious, and it'll be much easier to kill him. Jiang Taishu said, a cold light flashing in his eyes. Ha, Jiang Taishu, looks like you're really afraid of Lu Ming. All right, I agree. We'll gather the people of the two families first, and then take down Lu Ming's friends. Then, we'll wait for Lu Ming at the exit. Wang Ju laughed. All right, then let's move. We'll meet at the exit, Jiang Taishu said with a cold face. Wang Ju smiled, and then stepped into the air with Wang Mia. Humph, I'll take care of that bastard Lu Ming first, then deal with you guys. Jiang Taishu's eyes were cold. He took out a few pills and swallowed them. Then he sat down cross-legged and began to heal his injuries. 2 hours later, Jiang Taishu stood up and disappeared in a ray of light. In the heavenly monument world, even voice transmission jade talismans couldn't be used. If one wanted to find someone, they could only rely on luck and fly. However, many people from the Jiang and Wang families had entered. Slowly, some people had gathered. Jiang Taishu had even formed an alliance with Wanzhan to kill Lu Ming together. The people of the three ancient families moved out and started to search for Xian Yanqing, Kenfei Ryu, and the people of the Golden Sword sect. This time, apart from Kenfei Ryu, there were a total of 29 people from the Golden Sword sect. However, only 9 of them had successfully entered. Jin Zhaokai was one of the 9. He had cultivated for more than 800 years and was an extremely powerful peak king of the Golden Sword sect. However, at his age, the chances of breaking through to the spiritual sea realm were very slim. However, the heavenly king ranking was a chance. He wanted to give it a try. Now that he had gathered 72 strands of steel chi, perhaps there really was hope. At this moment, he suddenly stopped. In front of him, 3 figures walked over. Jiang Taishu. Jin Zhaokai's expression changed drastically. The one in front of the 3 was Jiang Taishu. Looking at your cultivation technique, you're from the Golden Sword sect, right? Jiang Taishu asked with a gloomy face. That's right. I'm from the Golden Sword sect. If young Master Jiang needs the steel chi, I'm willing to give it all to you. Jin Zhaokai had already lost all hope after encountering Jiang Taishu. He knew that this time he couldn't keep the steel chi. He could only exchange it for his life. Give you the steel chi? Hee, I'll still get the steel chi after killing you. Jiang Taishu smiled coldly. At the same time, his body moved and pounced towards Jin Zhaokai, showing off his ability. Jin Zhaokai was shocked. He frantically retreated and used all his strength to block. A bright golden sword light slashed towards Jiang Taishu. However, in the next moment, the sword light broke. His body shook violently, and one of his arms was broken. Puchi! Jiang Taishu's palm directly pierced through Jin Zhaokai's heart. Why? Jin Zhaokai's eyes widened, filled with unwillingness. Generally speaking, as long as one took the initiative to give up the steel chi, ordinary people wouldn't kill them. This was because they were all from the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace, not the Heavenly Corpse sect or the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace. Why? If you want to blame someone, blame yourself for being too close to that bastard Lu Ming. After saying that, Jiang Taishu released his energy and killed Jin Zhaokai. Chapter 746. This scene happened in every corner of the Sky King's monument world. The 9 powerhouses of the Golden Sword sect who entered were all killed. Countless people saw this scene in the outside world. Despicable, despicable. The remaining people of the Golden Sword sect who did not enter the Sky King's monument world were furious. The actions of Jiang Taishu and the others were too despicable. What did you say? In the outside world, the Jiang and Wang families also targeted the people of the Golden Sword sect. The expressions of the people of the Golden Sword sect changed drastically, and they did not continue to speak. Humph! The Sky King's Monument world is not a battle stage. All kinds of methods can be used in a one-on-one battle. Don't you understand? Once you enter, you should be prepared to be killed. The people of the Jiang family said coldly, although the others were indignant. The ancient families were too powerful. They could only shut up. Look, that's Lu Ming's girlfriend and Kenfei Ryu. They're about to meet Jiang Taishu. And Wang Ju, he's also nearby. It's over. This is dangerous. Two figures appeared on the Sky King's monument. They were Xian Yanqing and Kenfei Ryu. Xian Yanqing and Kenfei Ryu happened to meet half a day after entering the Sky King's monument world. The two of them decided to work together. I wonder where Brother Lu is. Kenfei Ryu asked. Don't worry about that guy. No one here is a match for him, Xian Yanqing said. He was very confident in Lu Ming. Suddenly, Xian Yanqing stopped. Kenfei Ryu was stunned. The next moment, his expression changed slightly. A dozen figures appeared in front of him. The leader was Jiang Taishu. Beside him were two young men. They were obviously extremely powerful existences in the Jiang family. The other dozen people were all burly men and old men. They exuded a sharp aura. Jiang Taishu. Kenfei Ryu's expression changed. He transmitted his voice to Xian Yanqing and said, Miss Xie, there are too many of them. Let's retreat first. They have killing intent. They might not let us go. Xian Yanqing said. Whoosh, whoosh. Jiang Taishu and the others moved very quickly. Like spirit weapons, they tore through the void and appeared in front of Xian Yanqing and Kenfei Ryu in an instant. Ha ha! Kenfei Ryu and you, Lu Ming's woman, you won't be able to escape today. But don't worry, I won't kill you. I'll cripple your cultivation and then take you to kill you in front of Lu Ming. Jiang Taishu's voice was extremely cold. Looks like you've been defeated by Lu Ming. Otherwise, why would you use such a method to deal with Lu Ming? Xian Yanqing said indifferently. His eyes were filled with disdain. Shut up, bitch! Jiang Taishu shouted angrily. He stared at Xian Yanqing ferociously and said, Bitch, Lu Ming will definitely die. I won't let you go to waste. I'll serve you well in front of Lu Ming. Ha ha! A genius of an ancient family? An expert on the Heavenly King leaderboard. Trash. You want to use despicable means to win after being defeated. You'll never amount to anything. Xian Yanqing mocked with a look of disdain. Bitch, you're courting death. Jiang Taishu shouted angrily. Ha! What a sharp tongue this girl has. I like it. With a loud laugh, Wang Ju and Wang Mia walked over with more than 10 people. Kenfei Ryu's face was extremely solemn. Xian Yanqing also frowned slightly. Wang Ju, you've come at the right time. Is everything settled? Jiang Taishu asked. Of course. Wang Ju waved his hand, and 4 golden swords flew out and stabbed into the ground below. Jiang Taishu also waved his hand, and 5 golden swords flew out and stabbed into the ground. 9 golden swords were lined up in a row. You bastards! Kenfei Ryu roared, his face extremely ugly. Jiang Taishu and Wang Ju were actually hunting the people of the Golden Sword sect. Kenfei Ryu's eyes turned red when he saw 9 people of the Golden Sword sect killed. They didn't deserve to die. They can only blame themselves for being too close to Lu Ming. Soon, you will follow in their footsteps. Jiang Taishu smiled sinisterly. At this moment, the scene in the outside world was also frozen. Many people were angry and felt that Jiang Taishu's actions were shameless. However, The other party was a genius of the 6 ancient families. They didn't dare to say anything and could only swallow their anger. At this moment, Jiang Taishu waved his hand and led more than 10 experts of the Jiang family towards Xian Yanqing and Kenfei Ryu. Sky Demon Force Field. Xian Yanqing waved her hands, and the Sky Demon Force Field enveloped herself and Kenfei Ryu. Kill! Jiang Taishu roared and rushed into the Sky Demon Force Field like a divine weapon. More than 10 experts of the Jiang family also rushed into the Sky Demon Force Field. As soon as they rushed into the Sky Demon Force Field, their expressions changed drastically as they felt an unimaginable pressure. Ever since Xian Yanqing had successfully merged the destruction intent and the wind intent, the power of the Sky Demon Force Field had greatly increased. Later on, her bloodline had undergone nirvana and reached the 9th level of the king level, so it was even stronger. Destruction cut. A terrifying cutting power crazily slashed at the Jiang family members. Someone immediately coughed up blood and was severely injured. Break! Jiang Taishu roared. His palm was like a heavenly blade that could cut through everything. With one strike, the force field in front of him was broken. Jiang Taishu strode forward and rushed in front of Xian Yanqing. Kenfei Ryu's eyes turned golden, and a dazzling golden light spread out from his hand. It turned into a sharp sword light and slashed at Jiang Taishu. Clown, how dare you attack me? You're courting death. Jiang Taishu struck out with his palm again. It turned into a divine sword and crashed into the dazzling golden sword light. The sword light shattered, and Kenfei Ryu retreated quickly. His face turned red, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. He was too weak compared to Jiang Taishu. Even with the help of Xian Yanqing's Sky Demon Force Field, he was still far from being Jiang Taishu's opponent. Jiang Taishu was like a divine weapon that could not be stopped. He continued to break the Sky Demon Force Field and attacked Xian Yanqing. Sky Demon right hand. Xian Yanqing whispered. Black light bloomed on her body. Her jade-like hand gently pressed forward. A beautiful arm condensed in the air like the world's most beautiful work of art and blasted toward Jiang Taishu. Jiang Taishu struck out with his palm and collided with the beautiful arm. In an instant, Jiang Taishu's expression changed slightly. His body trembled, and he took a step back. In the process of him and Xian Yanqing's attacks, he had been bombarded by a powerful destructive force. In the heavenly demon force field, he was actually at a disadvantage. This made his murderous intent even sharper. First, he was defeated by Lu Ming. Now, he was at a disadvantage in the battle with Xian Yanqing. He could not accept it. Kill! Jiang Taishu's aura became stronger as he unleashed his bloodline. He charged towards Xian Yanqing. Kenfei Ryu, you go and deal with those people. Leave this guy to me. Xian Yanqing said to Kenfei Ryu. Okay. Kenfei Ryu's body flashed. Golden sword light bloomed and attacked the rest of the Jiang family. Those people were also very strong. They kept breaking the Sky Demon Force Field, putting Xian Yanqing under great pressure. Xian Yanqing not only had to control the Sky Demon Force Field, but he also had to deal with Jiang Taishu. This caused the spectators to be extremely shocked. Chapter 747. Kenfei Ryu was not affected by the Sky Demon Force Field. He used a guerrilla tactic. A golden sword light kept moving around, attacking the Jiang family members from time to distract them and reduce the pressure on Xian Yanqing. Jiang Taishu went crazy and attacked Xian Yanqing crazily. However, Xian Yanqing's bloodline martial technique was extremely powerful. Together with the Sky Demon Force Field's cutting power, Jiang Taishu actually had the upper hand. Haha, Jiang Taishu, it seems like you can't do it. You can't even take down a girl. Wang Ju laughed at the side. Wang Ju, are you going to watch the show from the side? Jiang Taishu's face was extremely ugly. He and Wang Ju were competitors. He knew that Wang Ju was doing it on purpose. Ha ha! Wang Ju laughed, but he was also very shocked in his heart. He didn't make a move because he thought that Jiang Taishu would be able to take down Xian Yanqing and the others. Taking a step back, if Jiang Taishu couldn't take down Xian Yanqing, it would be a blow to his reputation. Then he would make a move to determine the outcome. However, he never thought that Jiang Taishu would be at a disadvantage. Xian Yanqing's strength was beyond his expectations. A murderous intent flashed in the depths of his eyes. He suddenly agreed with Jiang Taishu's way of doing things. With these people here, how could they get first place? Jiang Taishu, let me help you take down this girl. Wang Ju's body emitted a terrifying flame. The surrounding temperature rose rapidly. The purple flame seemed to have turned Wang Ju purple. Boom! Wang Ju was like a burning meteor. He rushed into the Sky Demon Force field and attacked Xian Yanqing. Xian Yanqing's eyes flashed with seriousness. Sky Demon Hand. She formed a seal with both hands. Two beautiful arms formed in the air, one on the left and one on the right, attacking Jiang Taishu and Wang Ju, respectively. Bitch, break! Jiang Taishu turned into a divine weapon. Every strand of his hair was a weapon. He joined his palms together and struck out with force. Rip! The void seemed to be torn apart. The palms struck a Sky Demon Hand. On the other side, Wang Ju turned into flames and attacked with a shocking punch. Boom! Boom! The sky shook, and Xian Yanqing's face turned pale. His body trembled, and he couldn't help but take 9 steps back. The heavenly demon force field trembled and almost dissipated. Not good. In the outside world, the members of the Golden Sword sect wore heavy expressions. When Wang Ju and Jiang Taishu joined forces, they were too strong. Among those at the same level, who could fight against them? In addition, there were still more than a dozen experts from the Jiang family and some experts from the Wang family who had yet to make a move. Xian Yanqing and Kenfei Ryu were most likely dead. Bitch, let's see if you can still resist. Kill! Jiang Taishu shouted. Nest, you guys are so shameless. A group of people bullying 2 people. I can't stand it anymore. A voice rang out. A fatty carrying a battle axe rushed over at an extremely fast speed. It's him. Everyone's heart trembled. Fatty Kongjin was also the person who had reached the 20th step and shattered 28 shields. Moreover, he seemed to be very close to Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing. Fatty Kongjin's arrival made Jiang Taishu and the others frown. Damn Fatty, I advise you not to meddle in other people's business. Otherwise, you'll end up badly. Jiang Taishu stared at Kongjin unkindly. Fat your ass. You're the fatty. Your whole family is fat. The fatty glared at him and cursed. Then he looked at Xian Yanqing and put on a smile. Sister, are you all right? Who's your sister? Xian Yanqing glared at him. My wife is your sister. So, of course you're my sister. Where's my brother-in-law, Lu Ming? Kongjin's eyes darted left and right. Xian Yanqing was speechless. He had never seen such a shameless person. So many people joining forces to deal with 2 people. How shameless. Today, I'll teach you a lesson. Kongjin grabbed his battle axe and revealed a trace of malevolence in his eyes. You guys kill this fatty. Wang Ju waved his hand and said to the people of the Wang family. Wang Ju had brought more than 10 people with him. Each of them was an expert. Kill this fatty. Wang Mia was also among them. He waved his hand and said, Kill. More than 10 experts of the Wang family rushed toward Kongjin. Eat my battle axe. Kong Jin held his battle axe with both hands, stepped forward, and chopped down with it. Puchi. The next moment, an expert of the Wang family was directly split in half. Puchi. Kong Jin swung his battle axe again. This time, two experts of the Wang family were split in half at the waist. If you want to kill me, I'll kill you first. Kong Jin's fat body was like an ancient fierce beast. He was carrying a huge axe that was as big as a door. It was as if he had entered a realm where no one could stop him. He swung his axe one after another. No one could stop his axe. Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. This fatty was too strong. Those people of the Wang family were definitely experts. They were extremely strong existences among the same level, but no one could block his battle axe. Wang Mia only felt his body trembling and cold sweat flowing down. Inhuman. This fatty was simply inhuman. He was terrifyingly strong. In the blink of an eye, 8 of the more than 10 experts of the Wang family were killed by the fatty. Go! Wang Mia turned and ran. Trash. Kong Jin berated. He looked at Wang Ju and Jiang Taishu and said, I heard that you two were the previous 10 heavenly kings. I want to give it a try. You'll be the one. Kong Jin pointed his battle axe at Jiang Taishu and rushed towards him with the battle axe in hand. Jiang Taishu's expression was ugly. His palm was like a divine weapon as he slashed at the fatty. Clang! Jiang Taishu's body shook violently and was forced back. Go out and fight. I won't take advantage of you, Kong Jin said, and flew out of the range of the Sky Demon force field. Jiang Taishu's expression changed and became extremely gloomy. Kong Jin's combat strength was too terrifying, although he suffered a loss in the Sky Demon force field. Just now, who knew if Kong Jin used his full strength just now? Even if he was out of the Sky Demon force field, he was not confident that he could win against Kong Jin. He even had a premonition that he would be defeated. How could this be? Jiang Taishu roared in his heart. How could there be such a perverted person? What are you doing? If you don't dare, then get lost quickly. Kong Jin berated. Brother Jiang, I think we should retreat first. This fatty is unfathomable and difficult to deal with. It won't be too late to deal with them after we gather more people. Wang Ju's expression also changed. He then transmitted his voice to Jiang Taishu. With the addition of Kong Jin, it was obviously impossible for them to take down Xian Yanqing and the others. Let's go! Jiang Taishu shouted and turned to leave. The rest of the people followed Jiang Taishu and left in a flash. Not a single one was left. Huff! Xian Yanqing let out a long breath. Previously, she controlled the Sky Demon force field and trapped so many experts at the same time. She also had to continuously attack and deal with Jiang Taishu. The consumption was too great. Chapter 748. Huff, huff. Fatty Kong Jin was also panting heavily. Just now, he seemed to be valiant and invincible, easily killing the 8 experts of the Wang clan, but in reality, he used his full strength. Those were all extremely powerful experts. It was almost impossible for them to be killed in one move when they were at the same level. Every one of them was stronger than Qin Qingshan. Fatty had used all of his strength in order to create such an effect to intimidate Jiang Taishu and the others. He had used up a lot of his energy, and he could not maintain that terrifying combat strength for long. Fortunately, Jiang Taishu and the others were really scared away. I'm so tired. Fighting is really exhausting. I need to replenish my energy. As he spoke, a golden roasted lamb leg appeared in his hand, and he took a big bite out of it. Sister, we have to find brother-in-law, Lu Ming, as soon as possible and join forces. Jiang Taishu and the rest will definitely not take this lying down. Kong Jin shouted as he chewed on the lamb leg. Let me tell you, I'm not your sister. Lu Ming is not your brother-in-law. Xian Yanqing's eyes widened as he gnashed his teeth. Oh, look, you're shy. You and Lu Ming will be together sooner or later. Your sister and I will be together sooner or later too. Don't worry, Kong Jin said as he chewed on the lamb leg. His fat body trembled as he spoke confidently. Xian Yanqing gritted his teeth. He was speechless and turned to leave. Brother Kong Jin, thank you for saving us. Kenfei Ryu cupped his fists and said, What are you thanking me for? We're all on the same side. Ha ha, sister, wait for me. Kong Jin twisted his fat body and chased after Xian Yanqing. Kenfei Ryu smiled bitterly. Kong Jin was really a weirdo. The three of them searched for others to obtain monument qi, while they searched for Lu Ming. As for Jiang Taishu, Wang Ju, and the others, they were also gathering the experts of the Jiang clan and Wang clan, as well as the people of the Wan clan. They also wanted to rope in the Dongfang clan and the other two clans. However, the people of the two clan masters were clearly not interested and did not agree. Time flew by quickly. In the blink of an eye, it was already the third day. There were still a few hours before the end of the 3 days. Lu Ming was unaware of all this. For the past few days, he had been seizing monument qi. As long as the people he encountered voluntarily handed over their monument qi, he would not make things difficult for them. If the other party refused to comply, he would not be lenient either. As more and more people were eliminated, the remaining people gathered more and more monument qi. Every time he captured a person, he would obtain a large amount of monument qi. Lu Ming already had over 2,000 strands of monument qi. There were more than 10,000 people who entered this time. In total, there were more than 30,000 strands of monument qi. He had obtained more than 2,000, which was already quite a lot. It was almost certain that he would enter the top 50 or even more. For the past few days, I haven't met the Jiang clan and Wang clan. Also, where is Shao Qing and the others? I haven't met them either. Lu Ming pondered. He did not know if he was lucky or unlucky. 2,000 strands of monument qi is definitely not enough. There are still a few hours before the time to leave. I'll block the exit and wait for the Jiang clan and Wang clan to arrive. I'll take all their monument qi. Lu Ming's lips curled into a cold smile. His thoughts were actually similar to Jiang Taishu and the others. Jiang Taishu and the others were gathering people to ambush Lu Ming at the exit. As for Lu Ming, he wanted to take the monument qi of the Jiang clan and Wang clan. Thinking of this, Lu Ming flew towards the exit. The exit of the Sky King's monument world was at the center of the Sky King's monument world. Once the 3 days were up, he would have to leave through the exit. After 3 days, even if he killed others, he would not be able to take the monument qi. As he got closer to the exit, he saw a few figures. Xian Yanqing, Kenfei Ryu, and Kong Jin. Lu Ming was overjoyed and flew towards them. Lu Ming. Brother Lu. Xian Yanqing and Kenfei Ryu's eyes lit up. They had been looking for Lu Ming for a long time, but they could not find him. Hence, they wandered around the exit and waited for Lu Ming. As expected, they met him. Haha, brother-in-law, we have been looking for you for a long time. Kong Jin stepped forward and grinned. Brother-in-law? Lu Ming was puzzled. Since when did he become this fatty's brother-in-law? Yeah, she's my wife's sister. Doesn't that make you my brother-in-law? Kong Jin pointed at Xian Yanqing and said. Xian Yanqing's face darkened as he gritted his teeth. Lu Ming's lips trembled. This fatty was really talented. Xia Nianjuan's aloof figure involuntarily appeared in Lu Ming's mind. She was like a holy fairy, aloof, looking down on others. If Xie Nianjun knew that this fatty had treated her as his wife, what kind of expression would she have? For some reason, Lu Ming was looking forward to it. How have you been these few days? Did you meet anyone from the Jiang family and the Wang family? Lu Ming said. Kenfei Ryu and Xie Nianqing's faces darkened. Why? Did you meet them? Lu Ming's expression changed. That's right. Not only did we meet them, but we also had a big battle. If Brother Kong didn't save us in time, Miss Xie and I would have been in danger. Kenfei Ryu sighed. Lu Ming, did you defeat Jiang Taishu? Xie Nianqing asked. That's right. Lu Ming nodded. Jiang Taishu teamed up with the Wang family and killed all the people from the Golden Sword sect. They even wanted to capture us to threaten you, Xie Nianqing said. What? In an instant, Lu Ming was enraged, and cold killing intent erupted from his body. Immediately, Xie Nianqing briefly recounted what had happened during this period. Jiang Taishu deserves to die. Lu Ming bellowed furiously. He did not expect Jiang Taishu to be so despicable. Jiang Taishu was no match for him, but he had gathered his men to kill the people from the Golden Sword sect. He even wanted to capture Xie Nianqing and the rest to threaten him, so that he would not harm them. Was this the prodigy of an ancient family? Then they should have gathered people and waited for us at the exit. Good, very good. This time, I will definitely kill Jiang Taishu. Lu Ming's eyes were like lightning, and his killing intent was cold. Brother Lu, they have more people. Are you confident? Kenfei Ryu said. Since they have more people, I'll take them down one by one. Little Qing, wait a moment. I'll need your cooperation. We'll go all out and clean up the trash first. Lu Ming's eyes were like lightning. Haha, good. Interesting. Watch me show my might this time. Kong Jin took out a beast leg and gnawed on it, saying that it was to replenish his strength. The four of them rested for a while and adjusted themselves to their peak state before heading toward the exit. At this time, many people had gathered at the exit. Jiang Taishu had brought more than 30 experts from the Jiang family. Wang Ju had brought more than 20 experts from the Wang family. In addition, Luan Zhan was a prodigy of the ancient family, and he was as famous as Jiang Taishu. He had also brought more than 20 experts from the Luan family. The three groups had gathered, and there were nearly 80 people. This was a terrifying force. Every one of them was an expert among the peak-level kings. Some of them could even compete for the top 108. Chapter 749. In the outside world. The images on the heavenly king steel were being exchanged between Lu Ming's group and Jiang Taishu's group. Lu Ming's group is about to reach the exit. They'll meet Jiang Taishu's group soon. Jiang Taishu, Wang Ju, and Luan Zhan have close to 80 experts. Lu Ming's group is no match for them. Aren't they courting death if they rush in? Maybe they have a way out. This battle will definitely be exciting. Many people's eyes lit up as they stared at the images on the heavenly king's steel. There were also many people discussing it. Boom, boom. At this moment, the crowd suddenly felt two deep auras above their heads. The immense pressure was like an ancient sacred mountain pressing down on them. Everyone looked up in horror. In the sky, two figures had appeared out of nowhere. Two young figures. One of them was wearing a purple robe and looked like a nobleman. However, he exuded an extremely hot aura, like a sun floating in the sky. The other person was wearing a black robe and had his hands behind his back. He looked like a peerless divine weapon that could destroy the sky. That's Wang Yan. Wang Yan from the Wang family. And Jiang Taichung. Jiang Taichung and Wang Yan are ranked in the top 100 of the list of top 1,000 talents. Why are they here? Shouldn't they be in seclusion in the secret place, preparing for the Battle of Providence? Yeah, they shouldn't be interested in the heavenly king steel. The crowd discussed in shock. Jiang Taishu is getting more and more useless. I thought he would be able to get first place after 3 years of silence. Jiang Taichung smiled, faintly with his hands behind his back. The new rising stars this year are quite interesting. Wang Yan also smiled faintly. They are interesting, but their cultivation is too weak. It's not worth mentioning. Jiang Taishu looked at the images on the heavenly king steel as if he was watching a good show. If they hadn't been passing by, they wouldn't have bothered to watch the heavenly king steel. Their goal was the Battle of Providence. The others suppressed their shock and continued watching the images. At this moment, Lu Ming's group was getting closer and closer to the exit. Finally, the two sides met. Boom, boom, boom. When Jiang Taishu and the others saw Lu Ming and the others, powerful auras erupted from their bodies. Lu Ming, you're finally here. I've been waiting for a long time, Jiang Taishu said coldly. Waiting for me? What? Are you not convinced of your defeat last time? You want to fight me again? Sure, I'll accompany you anytime. Lu Ming smiled faintly. Jiang Taishu clenched his teeth, and his face darkened. Lu Ming had touched a sore spot. Moreover, he knew very well that he was no match for Lu Ming, so why would he fight him? Lu Ming, don't think that I'm afraid of you. However, this is not a battle stage. I have a better way to defeat you. Why should we fight? Jiang Taishu said. If you're scared, just say so. If you don't dare, just say so. Stop pretending to be so dignified. What other methods do you have? You're just relying on numbers to win, Lu Ming said disdainfully. The winner is king, and the loser is a bandit. Don't you understand this principle? Let's fight together. At this point, Jiang Taishu no longer cared about his face. He only had one thought in his mind, and that was to kill Lu Ming. In his opinion, Lu Ming was the one who had caused him to lose face. If Lu Ming wasn't so strong, if Lu Ming had allowed him to kill him from the beginning, he wouldn't have ended up like this. Everything was Lu Ming's fault. The Jiang family, Wang family, and Wan family rushed towards Lu Ming and the others. The combined aura of almost 80 experts was terrifying. Retreat. Lu Ming said in a low voice. The 4 of them quickly retreated. Then, the 4 of them split up and retreated in 4 different directions. Don't run if you have the guts. Jiang Taishu shouted. Fight me one-on-one if you have the guts. Lu Ming sneered. Wang Ju, Luan Zhan, let's kill 1 person each. Jiang Taishu shouted. He led more than 30 experts of the Jiang family to chase after Lu Ming. Wang Ju charged towards Xian Yanqing. Luan Zhan led his men to kill Kong Jin. As for Kenfei Ryu, they didn't care about him at all. As long as they killed Lu Ming and the other 2, killing Kenfei Ryu would be a piece of cake. Xian Yanqing's body was like an illusion. He turned into a series of phantoms, and his speed was extremely fast. He kept changing his position in the air. Kong Jin was like a ferocious beast, running wildly in the air. Whoosh, whoosh. Lu Ming used the 9 dragons' heaven stomping steps. His body turned into a stream of light, and he instantly appeared beside the Wang family. Xian Yanqing's body flickered, leaving behind a series of phantoms. He pressed his hands together, and the sky demon force field exploded, enveloping a part of the Wang family. Exploding star fist. Lu Ming seized the opportunity and threw out hundreds of punches. Hundreds of fist auras drowned 7 or 8 Wang family experts. Destruction cut. Xian Yanqing whispered, and the destruction cut burst out. There was a series of miserable screams. Ah, damn it! Wang Ju charged towards Xian Yanqing crazily. However, After Lu Ming threw out hundreds of punches, his body flashed, and he appeared beside Xian Yinqing. He used the 9 dragons' heaven-stomping steps and turned into a stream of light, leaving this place. The 7 or 8 Wang family experts, who were enveloped by Xian Yinqing just now, were already dead. In the next moment, Lu Ming and Xian Yinqing appeared behind the Jiang family again. Xian Yinqing pressed his hands together, and the Sky Demon Force field enveloped 7 or 8 Jiang family experts. Lu Ming, on the other hand, threw out hundreds of fist gleams. They didn't pick on Jiang Taishu. There were a few other extremely powerful people. They picked on the weaker ones. These 7 or 8 people were also successfully killed. Damn it! Kill! Jiang Taishu changed his direction and charged towards Lu Ming crazily. However, Lu Ming hugged Xian Yinqing. His figure changed, and he appeared in another location. The 2 of them attacked together and killed another 5 or 6 experts of the Jiang family. Lu Ming's 9 dragons' heaven-stomping steps was too fast. It was a divine-level martial technique, and no one at the same level could compete with it. Damn it, Lu Ming, don't run if you have the guts. Stop and fight me face to face. Jiang Taishu roared. Okay, one-on-one. Lu Ming's voice came out. Jiang Taishu didn't say anything. Lu Ming's body flashed continuously, and more than 10 Jiang family and Wang family experts were killed. Steel Qi kept flying towards Lu Ming and Xian Yinqing. Both of them had more than 3,000 steel Qi. Miserable, too miserable. Jiang Taishu had brought more than 30 experts with him. Now, there were only a dozen left, and all of them looked pale. Wang Ju was even more miserable. He only had 5 or 6 people with him. Lu Ming, I want you dead. Wang Ju roared. Let's gather together. Don't split up. Jiang Taishu roared. The 3 groups quickly gathered together. Jiang Taishu, Wang Ju, and Wan Zhan led their strongest experts to guard 3 directions, in case Lu Ming sneak attacked. Lu Ming and the others also surrounded Jiang Taishu and the others. This scene was extremely comical. Chapter 750. In the outside world, the others were also stunned. Previously, Jiang Taishu, Wang Ju, and Wan Zhan had led close to 80 experts from the 3 ancient aristocratic families to kill Lu Ming. However, out of 80 people, dozens of them had died. The remaining people were even surrounded by Lu Ming and the other 3. This scene was destined to spread and become the laughingstock of the Eastern Wilderness. At this moment, Jiang Taishu, Wang Ju, and Wan Zhan's expressions were extremely ugly. They wished they could crush Lu Ming and the other 3 into ashes. They knew that after today, they would definitely become a laughingstock. In the future, they would also be looked down upon by the other geniuses on the list of top 1,000 talents. They might even lose in the competition between their families. In the 6 ancient families, there were more geniuses than them. Everyone had to bravely move forward and step on the other geniuses before they could finally take over an ancient family. But if today's situation spread, they would probably never have the chance again. How could they not hate and be angry? Jiang Taishu, what's wrong? You're not going to attack. In that case, you won't have a share of the first place. Lu Ming smiled faintly. Lu Ming, I swear that from now on, there will be no place for you in the Eastern Wilderness. Jiang Taishu roared. Haha, Jiang Taishu, don't flatter yourself. Do you think the Jiang family will send an elder to stand up for you after what you've done today? Lu Ming sneered. Jiang Taishu gritted his teeth. He knew that Lu Ming was right. If he wanted to make trouble for Lu Ming, he could only use his own power. But I don't want to let this go. Lu Ming's eyes turned cold. I must avenge the 9 lives of the Golden Sword sect. Today, I will kill you. Ha ha! Lu Ming, You just relied on your speed to escape. Do you dare to fight me head-on? Jiang Taishu sneered. As you wish. Lu Ming stepped forward, his long hair fluttering in the wind, his battle intent soaring. Just now, he had successfully weakened the strength of Jiang Taishu and the others. Now, it was time for a head-on battle. Lu Ming, leave the Wang family to me. I'll hold them back. Xian Yanqing moved and appeared in front of Wang Ju and the others. Miss Xia, I'll go with you. Kenfei Ryu appeared beside Xian Yanqing, intending to help her. Brother Kong, how about we hold the Wan family? Lu Ming looked at Kong Jin and said, Ha, leave them to me. I'll let them know my power. Kong Jin said with a grin. There were very few people of the same level who could give Lu a sense of danger, Jiang Taishu and Luan. Among those at the same level, Jiang were Jiang S's were. Although Wanzhan was strong, he was not one of the previous 10 heavenly kings. He was ranked 602 on the list of top 1,000 talents, slightly weaker than Jiang Taishu and Wang Ju. Kong Jin should be able to hold him off for a while. Jiang, worse Jiang. Jiang, S. Jiang, and the others, Jiang family. The others were also shocked. Lu Ming and the others were going to take the initiative and attack. It was unbelievable. The peak kings of the 3 big families were all experts, some of whom could compete for the top 108. Yet, they were going to attack with only 4 people. This had never happened before in history. Interesting. Even Dongfang, Hao, and Reverend 3 Corpses, who were spirit embryo realm experts, were looking forward to it. Sky Demon Force Field. Xian Yanqing took the lead, and the Sky Demon Force Field enveloped Wang Ju and the others. There were only 6 people left in the Wang family. However, they were all experts. Attack! Wang Ju shouted. The 6 people of the Wang family were like 6 blazing suns, trying to break through the Sky Demon Force Field and rush toward Xian Yanqing. However, within the Sky Demon Force Field, a terrifying cutting power exploded. Other than Wang Ju, the others found it difficult to break through. A dazzling golden light shone as Kenfei Ryu rushed into the Sky Demon Force Field. He didn't attack Wang Ju, but instead, he moved around the Sky Demon Force Field. His sharp sword light stabbed at the other 5 people, hindering their movements. Xian Yanqing executed the Sky Demon Hand and attacked Wang Ju. Wang Ju was at a disadvantage and was suppressed by Xian Yanqing. Haha, watch me. Sky-suppressing devil axe. Kong Jin laughed out loud. His fat body actually swelled up again. The door-like battle axe in his hand slashed wildly at the Wan family members. Boom, boom. Kong Jin stepped on the void, and the space trembled. Every slash of his axe seemed to be able to split open the sky and destroy everything. 8 slashes defying battle. Wanzhan executed the Wan family's unique skill. Slash after slash. The 8 slashes converged into one and collided with Kong Jin's battle axe. However, the battle axe in Wanzhan's hand shook violently and almost shattered. His body retreated like a cannonball, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. Wanzhan, who was ranked 602 on the list of top 1,000 talents, vomited blood after being hit by Kong Jin's battle axe. Earth essence and shattering essence. Wanzhan shouted in disbelief. Kong Jin had cultivated 2 extremely terrifying essences, the Earth essence and shattering essence. Moreover, both of them were at level 2 and had been successfully merged. How terrifying was it to have successfully merged 2 special essences? Haha, die! Kong Jin charged toward the Wan family with his door-like battle axe. Puff, puff. Kong Jin killed several people in succession, and no one could stop him. Let's kill him together. Wanzhan shouted. The Sky King tablet world was a world of pure martial arts. It couldn't even form a battle array, so it could only gather everyone's strength to fight against Kong Jin. Nearly 30 experts from the Wan family attacked at the same time, and dozens of attacks poured toward Kong Jin. Hey, there are too many people. It's not easy to fight. Kong Jin waved his battle axe and formed an iron wall to block the attacks. His fat jiggled nonstop. Then he looked for an opportunity to counterattack. The Wan family members didn't dare to be distracted. They could only gather together and attack Kong Jin continuously. Otherwise, Kong Jin would seize the opportunity to counterattack and kill one of them. The Wang family and the Wan family were both held back. Jiang Taishu's face darkened. Kill! Lu Ming didn't waste any more time. He strode forward, and his aura burst out one after another. In the end, for different essences surrounded him, and his aura was raised to the limit. Let's work together. Jiang Taishu shouted. With him as the leader, the remaining experts of the Jiang family joined forces to attack Lu Ming. Suppress heaven and earth. I'm invincible. Lu Ming roared and used the hell-suppressing heaven skill, striking out with his palm. Boom! A dazzling light flashed. The joint attack of the Jiang family members was broken by Lu Ming's palm. Lu Ming moved forward and struck out with his palm again. Pung! An old man met Lu Ming's palm, and his body was torn into pieces. How can he be so strong? Jiang Taishu shouted in disbelief. I didn't use my full strength last time, and you managed to escape. This time, you will die. Lu Ming roared and struck out with both of his palms. Last time, Lu Ming had only unleashed 2 types of concepts, wind and thunder. This time, he unleashed all 4 types of concepts. Lu Ming's combat ability had reached its current peak. Pung, pung. Chapter 751. Kill him. Jiang Taishu seized the opportunity and slashed at Lu Ming's waist with his palm. However, Lu Ming did not dodge or evade. His spine twisted like a huge dragon, trembling slightly and colliding with Jiang Taishu's palm. Pung! With a muffled explosion, Jiang Taishu's body trembled, and he was pushed back. Impossible! Jiang Taishu yelled in disbelief. His palm that could break anything slashed at Lu Ming's waist. Not only did it not cut Lu Ming in half, but he was also pushed back by Lu Ming. How could this be? How could he know the wonders of the suppressing hell art? The suppressing hell art could not only be cultivated to the hands and feet, but also to the other parts of the body. When cultivated to the highest level, every muscle in the body could explode with the enormous power of the suppressing hell art and suppress everything. After this period of cultivation, Lu Ming's suppressing hell art had improved again. Not only could he attack with his hands and feet, but he could also attack with his waist. Just now, it was his waist that had pushed Jiang Taishu back. What a terrifying bloodline martial skill. It should be a demigod bloodline martial skill. Dongfang Hao's eyes flickered as he spoke slowly. Demigod bloodline martial skill. How terrifying! Many people exclaimed. Normally speaking, one would need to be at least at the Sea of Souls realm to comprehend demigod-level martial arts from the bloodline. Moreover, it would be hard for normal bloodlines to comprehend demigod-level martial arts. Only those with god-level bloodlines would be able to comprehend demigod-level martial arts easily. If one wanted to bring out the power of a demigod bloodline martial skill, one would need to be at the Sea of Soul realm or above. King realm cultivators didn't have enough Jin Yuan and couldn't bring out much power. However, it was obvious that Lu Ming had comprehended a demigod bloodline martial skill at the King realm. Kill! Lu Ming's left hand exploded with a terrifying devouring power that enveloped the Jiang family members. His right hand was like the suppressing hell steel that pressed down. Enveloped by the devouring power, the Jiang family members felt their bloodline power become unstable. Their essence blood was faintly pulsing, and their battle strength weakened by a bit. Pung, pung. Lu Ming struck out with a palm and a kick. 2 Jiang family experts were killed. In just a few breaths of time, 6 Jiang clan experts were killed by Lu Ming. He was incomparably ferocious. How can he be so strong? How can he be so strong? Jiang Taishu's eyes widened, as if he couldn't accept this. Jiang Taishu has lost his will to fight. He is doomed. Someone sighed. Run! Run! This man is a monster. Run! Jiang Taishu suddenly shouted. His confidence collapsed. He turned around and ran towards the exit. The exit was like a door. Once someone ran in, they would be teleported out. You can't run away. Lu Ming took a step forward. His body was like a flowing light. He caught up with Jiang Taishu in a few moves and struck a palm at him. Bang! Jiang Taishu was sent flying, coughing up blood. His eyes were filled with terror. Save me! Save me! Wang Jue and Aizhan, save me! Jiang Taishu shouted. At this moment, he no longer had the arrogance and ambition he had before the start of the Heavenly King List battle. He was like a pitiful rat crossing the street, a pitiful worm. Now, he didn't want to do anything. He just wanted to live. But at this moment, how could Wang Jue and Aizhan save him? Their own hearts were in a perilous situation, and they were extremely shocked. Swoosh! Swoosh! At this moment, several figures flew over and stopped in the distance. Gui, save me. Let's work together and kill this man. Did you see how much monument chi he has with him around? You won't be able to get first place. Jiang Taishu shouted crazily. The people who came later were the experts of the Heavenly Corpse sect. The leader was a young man covered in a black robe. His eyes were ghastly. Gui glanced around and was a little shocked, but when he saw the monument chi of the Heavenly King monument above Lu Ming's head, his eyes flashed with killing intent. Lu Ming's monument chi was much more than his. Not only Lu Ming, but also Xian Yanqing and Kong Jin had more monument chi. Gui was also one of the 10 Heavenly Kings in the previous Heavenly King list. He was ranked 9th. He also wanted to get first place. Gui, hurry up and do something. If this man rises, it will be bad for your Heavenly Corpse sect. Jiang Taishu shouted. Shameless! Many people in the outside world despised him. Jiang Taishu was too shameless. He actually wanted to work together with Gui to kill Lu Ming. The reason was that Lu Ming's rise was bad for the Heavenly Corpse sect. Jiang Taishu was from the Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace, and Lu Ming was also from the Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace. This made many people from the Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace furious. The Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace and the Heavenly Corpse sect were archenemies. Dong Fong Hao and the others shook their heads. Jiang Taishu's words would definitely be reported back to the Jiang family. Jiang Taishu also knew that if these words were to spread, he would be despised and despised. But there was no other way. What was more important than his life now? Bam! He was hit by Lu Ming's palm again. His arm, which was harder than a spiritual weapon, was directly shattered. Gui, do something! Jiang Taishu shouted. Gui's eyes flashed, and he was about to step out. Gui, I advise you not to do anything. Even I am not confident of defeating this man. Suddenly, a figure appeared beside Gui, and a hoarse voice was heard. It was the Corpse King. Even you are not confident of defeating him. Gui's eyes were filled with horror. Yes, don't you see how miserable Jiang Taishu is? If you do anything, you might die here. It's better for us to sit on the mountain and watch the tigers fight. The corpse king said hoarsely. Gui let out a long breath and took a few steps back. He did not make a move. Ah, Jiang Taishu shouted in despair. Jiang Taishu, no one can save you today. Lu Ming's eyes flashed with cold killing intent. Lu Ming, spare me. I am the Jiang family's genius. Killing me will not do you any good. Spare me. Jiang Taishu finally started to beg for mercy. Sparing you will not do me any good. Kill. A terrifying devouring power enveloped Jiang Taishu as Gui Yi's palm slashed down. Pung! Half of Jiang Taishu's body exploded, and only half of his life was left. His eyes were filled with despair and begging. Lu Ming did not move. He stepped out, and Jiang Taishu was torn apart. Jiang Taishu, who was ranked 6th in the previous Heavenly King ranking, had been killed by Lu Ming. Devouring power erupted, and Jiang Taishu's essence blood was devoured. Devouring the essence blood of a peak-tier king wasn't much help to Lu Ming, but it was better than nothing. Retreat, retreat, let's retreat. At this moment, Wang Ju, Luan Zhan, and the others no longer had the will to fight. They frantically retreated, flying toward the exit. Jiang Taishu was dead, and the remaining members of the Jiang family had escaped. Even if they stayed, their fates would be miserable. Wang Ju took the lead, breaking through Xian Yinqing's heavenly demon force field and flying toward the exit. The other members of the Wang family followed. Lu Ming swept his gaze around, and his body turned into a streak of light as he charged toward the Wang family. Boom! Before he arrived, a fist shot out, stopping one of the members of the Wang family. Chapter 752. Lu Ming, what are you doing? Wang Mie shouted, his face pale. What am I doing? Didn't you and Wang Mang work together to knock me down the abyss when I challenged the Heavenly King's steel? I'm a vengeful person. Lu Ming sneered, revealing his killing intent. The other members of the Wang family couldn't care less about Wang Mie. They all rushed toward the exit. No, I was confused. Please let me go. Wang Mie's face was pale, and he almost wet himself. Lu Ming was simply a demon. He didn't even let Jiang Taishu off. He wasn't afraid of the Jiang family, so why would he be afraid of the Wang family? Therefore, he didn't dare to mention the Wang family and could only beg for mercy. It's too late. Lu Ming stepped forward and struck out with his palm. Ark, I'll fight it out with you. Seeing that begging was useless, Wang Mie could only fight with his life on the line. However, facing Lu Ming, who was at his strongest, his fate was sealed. With one strike, Wang Mie was torn into pieces. The interspatial ring and essence blood all belonged to Lu Ming. Of course, there was also the steel chi. At this moment, the Luan family, Wang Ju, and the others had already rushed through the door and disappeared. This Lu Ming is quite bold. He doesn't give my Wang family any face. In the outside world, Wang Yan licked his lips with a trace of killing intent in his eyes. Jiang Taichung's face was also ugly. In his opinion, no matter how weak Jiang Taishu was, he was still a genius of the Jiang family. Now that Lu Ming had killed Jiang Taishu in front of everyone, he didn't give the Jiang family any face. In the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace, how many people dared to not give face to the ancient families? This made them feel ashamed as well. In their position, they didn't care about Jiang Taishu or Wang Mie's life or death. However, to disregard the ancient families was a great crime. This Lu Ming said in front of everyone that the Wang family is nothing. If he is an ancient aristocratic family by himself, then an old man from the Wang family arrived beside Wang Yan. He alone is an ancient family? He's just a king. No matter how strong he is, what's the use? In the face of an even stronger opponent, Isn't he still able to suppress them with a single hand? Anger flashed across Wang Yan's eyes. Indeed, he doesn't know the immensity of heaven and earth. Jiang Taichung also spoke. Lu Ming naturally did not know that 2 top 100 geniuses from the list of top 1,000 talents had appeared outside, nor did he know that he had offended them. However, even if he knew, he wouldn't care. He looked in the direction of the people from the Heavenly Corpse sect. He didn't have a good impression of the Heavenly Corpse sect. If he had the chance, he wouldn't mind killing a few geniuses of the Heavenly Corpse sect. Dong! The Corpse King stepped out, causing the heavens and earth to tremble. Corpse chi emanated from his body, flowing like liquid. A ferocious glint flashed in his eyes, and a strong fighting spirit emanated from him. Lu Ming, you're very strong. If we really fight, then I'm not confident in my ability to defeat you. However, it's only the Heavenly King rankings now, and both of us are at the King realm. So, it can only be considered as a small matter before the Battle of Karmic Luck. How about we meet in the Battle of Karmic Luck? The Corpse King's hoarse voice rang out. Battle of Providence? Good. I hope you won't disappoint me when the time comes. Lu Ming said, and the fighting spirit in his eyes bloomed. Just like Kong Jin, the Corpse King also gave him a sense of danger. He was definitely a terrifying opponent, and not someone like Jiang Taishu could compare to. That's what I wanted to say. Don't die before the Battle of Karmic Luck. There aren't many good opponents. After the Corpse King finished speaking, he glanced at Xian Yanqing and Kong Jin. His eyes were also filled with fighting spirit, and then he strode towards the exit. As the Corpse King stepped in, the others also stepped in and disappeared into the portal. After a while, Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, and the other 2 also stepped into the portal. In the next moment, they appeared outside the Heavenly King Steel at the edge of the abyss. Lu Ming, look, names have appeared on the Heavenly King Steel. Xian Yanqing said to Lu Ming. Lu Ming looked back, and sure enough, on the Heavenly King Steel, golden names appeared one after another. They were the rankings of the Heavenly King Steel. The first place was written with 2 big words, Lu Ming. Lu Ming, first place. Without a doubt, Lu Ming had obtained the most steel chi. He had killed many experts from the Jiang and Wang families, and even killed Jiang Taishu. He had obtained all of their steel chi. His steel chi had far surpassed the others. Second place, Xian Yanqing. This was not surprising. Previously, Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing had joined hands to kill many experts from the Jiang and Wang families. Xian Yanqing had also obtained a lot of steel chi. Third place, Corpse King. Fourth place, Kong Jin. Fifth place, Dong Fangyu. Sixth place, Gui Yi. Seventh place, Wang Zhu. A series of rankings appeared on the Corpse King Steel. Kenfei Ryu had also appeared on the rankings, entering the top 108. On the other side of the abyss, more than 100,000 people were looking over with various emotions in their eyes. There was envy, jealousy, anger, and so on. Let's go over. Lu Ming appeared, and the 4 of them flew over the abyss. The Heavenly King Steel was still floating above their heads. This kind of Heavenly King Steel phantom could help them reach the top of the first Heavenly King Steel without being pressured or attacked. When Lu Ming and the others arrived, the crowd opened up a path for them. Lu Ming and the other 3 had become stronger. With just the 4 of them, they were able to defeat the Jiang, Wang, and Wan families' joint attack of almost 80 experts. It was truly unbelievable. Many people looked at them with awe in their eyes. Although they were all peak kings, Lu Ming and the others were much stronger than the others. Boom, boom. Right at this moment, 2 boundless pressures suddenly pressed down on Lu Ming and the others. Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, Kong Jin, and Kenfei Ryu's expressions changed as they unleashed their power to resist. Even so, the four of them were still forced back. Kenfei Ryu even coughed out large mouthfuls of blood. Pung. Lu Ming circulated the true dragon combat art in his body. He took a heavy step and steadied himself, looking up. In the sky, two youths were flying over. One of them was covered in purple flames, like a purple sun emitting a terrifying temperature. The other one was like a peerless divine weapon, showing off its sharpness. The Jiang and Wang families. Lu Ming's eyes flashed. The auras from the two were easy to distinguish. Are Jiang Taichong and Wang Yan going to attack Lu Ming and the others? They are geniuses ranked in the top 100 of the list of top 1,000 talents. Their cultivation has long reached an extremely high level. Lu Ming and the others are only in the King Realm. It doesn't make sense for them to attack King Realm experts, right? It's hard to say. After all, Lu Ming killed Jiang Taishu and many experts from the two families. Whispers could be heard from all around. Lu Ming, how dare you kill the geniuses of the Jiang family? Do you know your crime? Jiang Taichong's eyes shot out two rays of sharp light like two divine swords. In the Heavenly King tablet, life and death are predestined. It's all about killing each other and seizing the tablet aura. If we can't kill the ancient families, is there still a need to hold the Heavenly King ranking battles in the future? Chapter 753. Jiang Taichong frowned his eyebrows after hearing Lu Ming's rebuttal. Lu Ming, you're right. The Heavenly King monument does not forbid killing. Their deaths are due to their incompetence. However, let me ask you, have you ever said that one person is equivalent to an ancient family? Wang Yan stood in midair as purple flames flickered around his body. A terrifying temperature was emitted from his body. The people nearby backed away as they could not stand the terrifying temperature. Yes, Lu Ming's reply was simple and clear. Ha! Ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Wang Yin burst out laughing as his eyes glistened like two tiny suns. How foolish and ignorant. Do you know what an ancient family represents? You dare to say that one person is comparable to an ancient family? How shameless. That's right. You think you have some strength, so you're arrogant. However, you're just an ignorant fool. No matter how strong your strength is, you're only a martial emperor. A martial emperor can only do menial tasks in an ancient family. There are many ancient families that can kill you. Any one of them could suppress you with a single palm strike. Jiang Taichong let out a hollow laugh. Just because I can't do it now doesn't mean I can't do it in the future. Lu Ming's eyes were firm and full of confidence. The future? You're just a martial emperor realm cultivator. Let me tell you, the Heavenly King ranking is just a child's game in the eyes of the true geniuses of the Eastern Barren Territory. The real competition between the geniuses of the Eastern Barren Territory lies above the martial emperor realm. The battle of luck in a year's time will be the real battlefield for the geniuses. You guys are not even qualified to take part in it. Wang Yan's voice was filled with disdain. Wang Yan, why waste your time talking nonsense with them? I'll let them know how tiny they are before an ancient family. They're not even comparable to ants. Jiang Taichong took a step forward as a terrifying aura burst out from his body. It was as if countless swords were gathered on his body, emitting sharp glows. Each of the glows was like a sword that pressed down on Lu Ming and the others. At this moment, Lu Ming and the others' bodies violently shook. Their protective true essence was completely useless, and they were directly pierced through by that sharp light. It was as if their bodies were about to be pierced through. Strong, too strong. Jiang Taichong was definitely not an ordinary Sea of Soul Realm warrior. He had already walked very far in the Sea of Soul Realm. No matter how strong Lu Ming and his crew were, They were only martial emperors. The difference between them was too great, to the point that they had no chance of resisting. No matter how strong a martial king is, in front of absolute strength, he is still an ant. Jiang Taichung looked down at the crowd with a cold and indifferent voice. "I'll kill you in the Battle of Providence." Lu Ming let out a long roar. The four-colored concept revolved around him as he did his best to resist. "You want to kill me in the Battle of Providence?" Jiang Taichung sneered, and the aura on his body became even stronger. Wang. At this moment, the heavenly monarch tablet above Lu Ming's head suddenly trembled and emitted a resplendent light. At the same time, the heavenly monarch tablet above Xian Yanqing Kongjin and Kenfei Ryu vibrated and emitted a resplendent light. The light from the four of them gathered together. At this moment, the heavenly monarch tablet behind the four of them emitted a brilliant light as well. A giant heavenly monarch tablet suddenly appeared above Lu Ming and his crew. Bang! The heavenly monarch tablet's illusionary figure shuddered and dispersed Jiang Taichung's aura. Jiang Taishu took a few steps backward and stared at the giant heavenly monarch tablet with an unpleasant expression. Their suppression had caused the heavenly monarch tablet to react. A terrifying aura burst out from Wang Yan's body and pressed forward. However, he immediately followed Jiang Taichung's footsteps and was knocked backward. Protection of the heavenly monarch tablet. Humph! Jiang Taichung harumphed coldly. "Consider yourself lucky this time. Lu Ming, if you are really confident, head to the 9-Dragon City in the Tianwu domain. At that time, you will understand the true strength of the ancient families. You will also understand what it means to be a true genius and how insignificant you are." Wang Yan glanced at Lu Ming and his crew and said flatly. Then he turned around and disappeared with a step. Jiang Taichung also turned around and left. This time, they did not really intend to attack Lu Ming and his crew. Just as the crowd had guessed, with their cultivation, they could suppress Lu Ming and his crew with one hand. The difference between them was too great. If they attacked, they would end up with a reputation of bullying the weak. They only wanted to intimidate Lu Ming and the rest. They wanted to let them and everyone else understand the dignity and power of the ancient aristocratic families. At the same time, they wanted to prove their strength. No matter how strong a martial king was, he was still a martial king. They were also below the age of 30, but they had already gone far beyond the martial king level. Now that they had achieved their goal, they naturally left. Humph! What's so great about being in the top 100 of the list of top 1,000 talents? Sooner or later, I will surpass them one by one. Kong Jin snorted unhappily and took out a lamb leg to chew on. I wonder how many roasted lamb legs and barbecued meat this guy has stored. Lu Ming did not say anything, but his eyes were filled with a strong battle intent. Before he had the strength, it was useless to say anything. However, as Kong Jin had said, he would surpass them one day. Furthermore, Lu Ming believed that this day would not be too far away. He was comparable to an ancient family. This was Lu Ming's initial goal. Furthermore, he had to achieve it. If he could not even achieve this, how could he compete with the top martial emperor? "Let's go. We will cultivate on the steps of the heavenly king steel," Lu Ming said, and took a big step forward. The four of them headed toward the first heavenly king steel. When they arrived at the bottom of the heavenly king steel, they realized that there were already some people there. The corpse emperor was sitting cross-legged on the 26th step. Wang Ju, Gue Yi, and the others were sitting cross-legged on the 25th step. There were a total of 27 steps on the heavenly king steel. The 21st to 27th steps were dark red in color. It was the reward for the top 108 in the Heavenly King ranking. Only they could go up. The 27th step was the highest, and only the first place could go up. The 26th step could go up. The second to fourth place could go up. The 25th step could go up. The 5th to 10th place could go up. The 24th step could go up. The 11th to 20th place could go up. The 21st step could go up. The 38th place could go up. The 108 spots were distributed among the 7 steps. Lu Ming soared into the air and flew toward the highest step. Above his head, the illusory image of the Heavenly King's steel shone down rays of light, enveloping Lu Ming. Without the protection of the illusory image of the Heavenly King's steel, climbing the dark red steps would only lead to death. Bang! Lu Ming landed on the highest step. In that instant, Lu Ming felt all sorts of extremely intense states. He even felt that there were experts fighting and cultivating. There were imprints left behind by supreme experts on the Heavenly King's steel. No one knew when the Heavenly King's steel was left behind. It had stood here for countless years. In history, many martial emperors wanted to move it away and take it for themselves. However, no one could do it. Therefore, they stayed here for a long time. Lu Ming immediately sat down cross-legged, capturing the various states and starting to comprehend them. The traces of the various states here were much stronger than the steps below. Chapter 754. Xian Yanqing, Kong Jin, and the others also flew up the stairs and started cultivating. Soon after, the top 108 people all gathered and sat cross-legged on the top 7 steps. They had half a month to cultivate. After half a month, the Sky King steel would return to normal and lose its mysterious effect. It would only open again after 3 years. Time flew by quickly. After 3 days, Lu Ming's fire concept broke through and reached the second level of entry. Then, he switched to the Earth concept. The Earth concept was much more difficult to cultivate. Lu Ming spent 10 days to break through and reach the second level. Since then, Lu Ming's 4 concepts of heaven and earth had all broken through to the second level. The conditions to enter the Sea of Soul Realm had been met. Lu Ming could enter the Sea of Soul Realm at any time. At this time, 13 days had passed. There were still 2 days left. In these 2 days, Lu Ming planned to continue comprehending the Earth concept. Cultivating the Earth concept was the most difficult. Lu Ming must grasp this opportunity. In the blink of an eye, 2 days had passed. The Earth concept had also made some progress, reaching the middle stage of the second level entry. Soon, half a month's time would be up. Buzz. At this time, a message rushed into Lu Ming's mind. Lu Ming was stunned and carefully comprehended it. Then he was overjoyed. The message that rushed into Lu Ming's mind was actually a secret technique. The name of the secret technique was Super Spiritual Sea. Yes, the name was Super Spiritual Sea. According to the message, when a Sea of Soul realm martial artist cultivated this secret technique, the area of their spiritual sea would be twice as large as others. The area of a Sea of Soul realm martial artist's spiritual sea would be twice as large as others. This meant that the amount of Zhen Yuan they could store would be twice as large as others. Naturally, their battle strength would be stronger. Previously, it was said that the first place of the Sky King Steel would receive a special reward from the Sky King Steel. Some were martial skills, some were cultivation methods, and some were secret techniques. What Lu Ming received was a secret technique. This was also the reason why Jiang Taishu and the others were determined to fight for the first place. With a secret art like Super Spirit Ocean, he would have an innate advantage among the Sea of Souls realm warriors. Haha, great! My Zhen Yuan is already much stronger than ordinary people. With the Super Spirit Sea secret technique, my innate advantage will be even stronger. Lu Ming laughed in his heart. Although the 6 great ancient aristocratic families also practiced God-grade cultivation techniques, each type of God-grade cultivation technique specialized in a different direction. For example, the Wang family's heaven-burning raging flames art. After cultivating it, one's true essence would be like a heavenly fire that could burn everything. However, the thickness of the true essence was definitely not as thick as the true battle dragon art. The true dragon battle art leaned towards having abundant true essence. The combination of the super spirit sea and the true battle dragon art complemented each other perfectly. Suddenly, Lu Ming felt that the heavenly king's steel above his head had dissipated. As for him, he could no longer feel any pressure or intent. The time was up, and the heavenly king's steel returned to normal. At this moment, everyone on the stairs opened their eyes. Go! Wang Ju and the others glanced at Lu Ming and hurriedly flew away, as if they were afraid that Lu Ming would attack them. The Corpse King and the others from the Heavenly Corpse sect also got up and left. Lu Ming, how's the harvest? Xian Yanqing looked at Lu Ming. Not bad. Lu Ming nodded, and then asked, You've broken through your intent realm? I've broken through. Next, I'll break through to the Spirit Sea realm. Xian Yanqing said, Haha, I'm also going to break through to the Spirit Sea realm. Kong Jin grinned. I also plan to break through to the Spirit Sea realm. Kenfei Ryu also said. This time, many people had made great progress. After the Heavenly King ranking battle, many people would probably choose to break through to the Spirit Sea realm, such as Wang Ju and the Corpse King. After all, the War of Providence was getting closer and closer. There was only 1 year and 3 months left. The War of Providence was the key. All right, then let's find a place to break through. Lu Ming smiled. Now that he had accumulated enough supreme spiritual crystals, he had to break through to the Spirit Sea realm. Only by breaking through to the Spirit Sea realm could he compete with the top geniuses on the list of top 1,000 talents. The 4 of them rose into the air and flew into the distance. They did not fly to the city, but to the wilderness. Brother-in-law, what good stuff did you get from the top step? Kong Jin looked at Lu Ming sneakily. Fatty, you're not allowed to call him brother-in-law, and you're not allowed to call me sister. Otherwise, don't blame me for being rude. Xian Yanqing gritted his teeth and looked at Kong Jin gloomily. Kong Jin shuddered and said, You don't have to be like this. I'm just calling you that to sound friendly. If I don't call you that, how can I call you that? It's up to you. Call me by my name. Xian Yanqing said through gritted teeth. All right. Kong Jin pulled a long face, then looked at Lu Ming and said, Lu Ming, you haven't told me what good stuff you got. It's indeed good stuff. Lu Ming smiled and did not hide it. It's a secret skill. After the Spirit Sea realm, the area of the Spirit Sea can be doubled. What? Kong Jin, Xian Yanqing, and Kenfei Ryu were all shocked. Haha, Lu Ming, you see, you and I are family. Can you share it? Kong Jin looked at Lu Ming sneakily. Sure, buy it with spiritual crystals. Lu Ming said, Buy it with spiritual crystals? I don't have that many spiritual crystals. How about this? I'll give you primordial stones. Kong Jin thought for a moment. Then a bag appeared in his hand. He threw it to Lu Ming and said, There are 100 primordial stones in it. See if it's enough. Primordial stones? You have so many primordial stones. Except for Xian Yanqing, Lu Ming, and Kenfei Ryu all widened their eyes in shock. Primordial stones were similar to spiritual crystals. They contained a huge amount of energy. However, the energy in primordial stones was not the spiritual chi of heaven and earth in spiritual crystals, but primordial chi of heaven and earth. Primordial qi was purer than spiritual qi by many times. The energy consumed by warriors above the spirit sea realm was too terrifying. If they used spiritual crystals, it would be tens of millions or even hundreds of millions. The higher the realm, the more terrifying it would be. However, it was different with primordial stones. Primordial qi was extremely high level and could be quickly converted into genuine qi. A low-grade primordial stone was worth millions of spiritual crystals. The fatty gave Lu Ming 100 pieces of inferior-grade raw stones. They were worth hundreds of millions of supreme-grade spirit crystals. It should be known that ordinary Spirit Sea realm warriors did not have primordial stones. Normally, only warriors above the Spirit Sea realm would have primordial stones and use them to cultivate. Okay, that's enough. Lu Ming put away the primordial stones and took out 3 jade plates. He engraved the information of the Super Spirit Sea into the jade plates and then threw one of them to Kong Jin. This time, they had experienced a life-and-death battle. Lu Ming had already regarded Kong Jin as a friend. Although the Super Spirit Sea secret technique was precious, he would not be stingy. Chapter 755. Lu Ming, I don't have any primordial stones. Kenfei Ryu caught the jade pendant in a daze. Brother Jian, you don't need any primordial stones. Take it and cultivate. Lu Ming smiled. No, it's too precious. Kenfei Ryu still refused despite his desire. Brother Jian, you're so polite. Do you not see me as a friend? Lu Ming asked. How could that be? It's my honor to be friends with Brother Lu. Kenfei Ryu said. Then it's settled. Lu Ming smiled. Lu Ming, thank you. Kenfei Ryu held the jade pendant tightly and looked touched. Even if they were friends, not many people would share such a precious secret technique with him. As for Xian Yanqing, he kept the jade pendant without saying a word. Hey, why am I the only one who wants to buy the primordial stones? They don't want it. It's not fair. Kong Jin complained. Because you're filthy rich. Lu Ming smiled. How am I filthy rich? It's not fair, it's not fair. Kong Jin continued to complain. Soon, they flew hundreds of thousands of miles and arrived at a remote and barren mountain. The 4 of them landed. Lu Ming waved his hands and started to carve an inscription formation on the ground. Breaking through to the spiritual sea was no small matter and could not be disturbed. Lu Ming started to carve an inscription formation in this area. If there were any abnormalities, he would be able to sense it. After setting up the formation, everyone chose a place to cultivate in seclusion. Lu Ming, with your cultivation method, you need a lot of energy to break through to the spiritual sea. Take these primordial stones. Xian Yanqing walked to Lu Ming and threw a bag to Lu Ming. He then turned and disappeared into a mountain. 200 primordial stones. Lu Ming opened it and found that there were 200 low-grade ores inside. Lu Ming smiled and kept the origin stone. His figure flashed, and he rushed into a mountain. In the next moment, he appeared in the Temple of Paragon. Dandan was lying in a corner, nibbling on a spirit herb in a very leisurely manner. Kid, are you ready to break through to the Sea of Souls realm? Dandan glanced at Lu Ming and said, That's right. Lu Ming nodded. Your true yuan is extremely abundant, so the danger of breaking through the spiritual sea realm will increase greatly. Luckily, you've cultivated 4 wills, so it should be fine. Let me protect you. Dandan walked over. Lu Ming nodded and sat down cross-legged. With a wave of his hand, piles of supreme-grade spiritual crystals appeared around him. During this period of time, Lu Ming had killed many enemies and gathered all their spirit crystals together. There were more than 500 million spirit crystals. Lu Ming estimated that 500 million should be enough. Bang! Bang! His true yuan vibrated, and the piles of spiritual crystals exploded. The 9 dragons' bloodline devoured the spiritual crystals and started to refine them. Lu Ming used the true dragon fighting art to convert the energy into true yuan. Rumble! The cyclone spun wildly, and a large amount of true yuan gathered in it. Lu Ming started to compress the cyclone. As time passed, Lu Ming's cyclone became smaller and smaller. However, his true yuan also became more condensed and reached a terrifying level. To open the spiritual sea, one had to compress the cyclone to the maximum and then explode it. Yes, an explosion. At the moment of the explosion, a terrifying amount of energy would be generated and a spiritual sea would be opened in the Dantian. The spiritual sea was an ocean of true yuan. The amount of true yuan it could contain was much more than the cyclone. There was a limit to the amount of true yuan a cyclone could contain. Without opening the spiritual sea, one would never be able to break through. However, this process was extremely dangerous. If one was not careful, one's Dantian would explode, and even one's entire body would explode. Therefore, one had to use intent to protect the body. One had to use intent to block the energy of the explosion and gather it in a certain area to open the spiritual sea. Lu Ming's true yuan was too condensed, so the power of the explosion would naturally be stronger. If one only used one intent to protect the body, it would not be able to block it and would be very dangerous. Fortunately, Lu Ming had 4 intents. Compress, continue compressing. Half a day later, the cyclone had been compressed to the maximum and formed a point. A shocking amount of energy spread out from it. Success or failure depends on this. Explode. Lu Ming's eyes were filled with determination. With a thought, the cyclone that had been compressed to the maximum exploded. Boom, boom. It was like the beginning of the world. A shocking amount of energy burst out and destroyed everything. Block it. The 4 intents of heaven and earth gathered together and formed layers of defense in the Dantian. Rumble! The berserk energy wreaked havoc. Lu Ming's Dantian was torn apart and formed a crack. This crack was rapidly expanding. Slowly, the crack formed a pool of water. The pool of water grew larger and larger, and its surface area grew larger and larger. The spiritual sea was opening. This process only happened in an instant. In the next moment, the berserk energy calmed down, and a pool of about 10 meters in diameter was formed. This pool was the spiritual sea. When one first broke through, the area would not be very big. As one's cultivation increased, it would become bigger and bigger. When an ordinary person broke through to the spiritual sea, their spiritual sea would not be as big as Lu Ming's. Lu Ming cultivated the true dragon battle art and was able to open such a large spiritual sea at the beginning. Lu Ming had successfully opened the spiritual sea without any danger. This was normal. After all, Lu Ming had comprehended 4 intents and successfully merged them. No matter how strong his true yuan was, the defense of 4 intents was enough. Lu Ming's lips curled into a smile. He had finally broken through to the spiritual sea realm. However, there was only a thin layer of true yuan in the spiritual sea. Only when the spiritual sea was filled with true yuan could one be considered to have truly stepped into the spiritual sea realm. Explode, explode. Lu Ming continued to explode spiritual crystals, devouring and refining the spiritual qi and turning it into true yuan. As the spiritual crystals continued to be refined, the true yuan in the spiritual sea increased and slowly filled up. 3 days later, everyone's spiritual crystals were used up, but the spiritual sea was not full yet. The amount of energy I need to cultivate is still so terrifying. Lu Ming smiled bitterly. More than 500 million spiritual crystals were still not enough. Immediately, Lu Ming took out a bag and took out 2 primordial stones. He crushed them and primordial chi spread out. The 9 dragons' bloodline opened its mouth and swallowed the origin chi. Origin chi was of a much higher grade than spiritual chi. The spiritual chi was quickly filled with true yuan. In the end, Lu Ming refined another 50 origin stones before his spiritual chi was completely filled. What rich true yuan! What rich true yuan! Lu Ming circulated the true yuan of the battle dragon art. Feeling the rich true yuan, he was in a good mood. The true yuan of the spiritual sea realm was much richer than that of the king realm. Now, his battle strength had increased by a lot. With a thought, Lu Ming left the Temple of Paragon and sensed his surroundings. Xian Yanqing and the others should still be breaking through. Lu Ming had the 9 dragons' bloodline, so his speed was faster. I'll cultivate while waiting for them. I'll cultivate the super spiritual sea first. Chapter 756. A day later, Lu Ming successfully mastered the secret skill, Super Spirit Sea. Lu Ming's Spirit Sea had doubled in size from its original foundation and could accommodate more quintessential essence. Of course, when Lu Ming filled up his spiritual ocean, he used another 200 origin stones. If Kong Jin hadn't given him 100 origin stones, and Xian Yanqing hadn't given him 200 origin stones, he wouldn't have had enough spiritual crystals. Boom, boom. On the highest level of the Temple of Paragon, Lu Ming cultivated the suppressing Hell Heaven art. His arms, legs, shoulders, and waist all seemed to contain a suppressing Hell monument. Every move he made had unimaginable power. After more than 100 moves, Lu Ming finally stopped. After reaching the spiritual ocean realm, I can finally use the suppressing Hell Heaven art as I wish. Lu Ming broke into a smile. The suppressing Hell Heaven art was a demigod bloodline martial skill. It consumed a lot of true yuan. When Lu Ming was a peak-tier king, he didn't dare to use it casually. After breaking through to the spiritual sea realm, there was no need to worry about this. The vital essence in his spirit sea was extremely rich, and it was completely sufficient. In addition, his 4 intents had all reached the 2nd level. Lu Ming did not know what level his combat ability had reached now. After that, Lu Ming comprehended the 4 intents and cultivated martial skills every day. In the blink of an eye, half a month passed. Lu Ming guessed that Xian Yanqing and the others were almost done cultivating, so he left the Temple of Paragon. As soon as he left the Temple of Paragon, Lu Ming felt that something was wrong. He only sensed 2 auras. Originally, there were 3 auras. Shua, shua. As if sensing Lu Ming's aura, there was a sound of something breaking through the air. Xian Yanqing and Kong Jin appeared in front of Lu Ming. Lu Ming, Kenfei Ryu seems to have left. Xian Yanqing said, Brother Jian left. Lu Ming was stunned. He could sense the inscription formation that he had inscribed. However, he wouldn't be able to sense anyone coming in from the outside. This is the message he sent me. Xian Yanqing handed a sound-transmitting jade talisman to Lu Ming. There was only one sentence inside. Miss Xia, Brother Lu, I have something to do, and need to leave first. Don't miss me. Lu Ming guessed that it was because he was in the Temple of Paragon, and Kenfei Ryu's news couldn't reach him. So he didn't receive any news from Kenfei Ryu. Why did Brother Jian leave in such a hurry? What happened? Why did you leave without saying goodbye? Lu Ming frowned. Based on his understanding of Kenfei Ryu, he would not leave without saying goodbye. Something must have happened. I'm guessing that it might be because of his junior sister. Xian Yanqing said, That's possible. Could it be that Brother Jian went to 9 Dragons City? Lu Ming frowned. This was the only possibility. Let's go. Let's go back to the city and see if we can get some news." Lu Ming said. Then, the three of them soared into the sky and flew towards the city near the king's monument. Soon, they arrived at a city. Now, most of the Peak Kings had left. The area near the king's monument had returned to its previous desolation. There weren't many people on the streets. The three of them found a restaurant to see if they could get some news. Kong Jin ordered 50 roasted lamb legs in the restaurant. He was using his words to store them. "I heard that all the geniuses and sky prides have gone to 9 Dragon City in the Tianwu domain. That's normal. There's still more than a year before the Battle of Providence. Every time, the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace places great importance on it. I heard that all the cultivation sacred grounds in 9 Dragon City have been opened. All the cultivation sacred grounds that used to be closed are now open to the Sky Prides. Those Sky Prides will naturally flock there. Not only the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace, but also the Sky Demon Valley and Sky Corpse sect. Every time the Battle of Providence draws near, all kinds of sacred grounds will be open to increase the strength of those Sky Prides as soon as possible. After all, the Battle of Providence will affect a force's fortune for the next 20 years. It's no small matter. Even the martial emperor places great importance on it." That's right. Those Sky Prides will naturally become stronger if they cultivate in such sacred grounds. All the Sky Prides who are interested in the Battle of Providence will not miss it and will go there. Otherwise, they will be surpassed by others. Now, 9 Dragon City is a gathering place. Some people in the restaurant were discussing the recent news. "Lu Ming, they're right. Before every Battle of Providence, all the forces will do everything they can to nurture the geniuses of their respective forces and open up all kinds of sacred grounds. This is also an opportunity for us to improve our strength quickly and compete with the geniuses at the top of the list of top 1,000 talents." Xian Yanqing said. "Let's go to 9 Dragons City. I happen to know some friends there," Kong Jin said as he gnawed on a lamb leg. Lu Ming pondered quickly in his heart. 9 Dragon City in the Tianwu domain was the headquarters of the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace. Martial Emperor Yi was there. If they went to 9 Dragon City, they would be very close to Martial Emperor Yi. He was afraid that Martial Emperor Yi would sense the 9 Dragons' bloodline. Senior Juyang has already sealed it. He said that it won't be sensed for 10 years, so it should be fine. At that time, I will try not to use the 9 Dragons' bloodline. It should be fine. If I'm always timid and don't seize the opportunity, how can I improve my cultivation quickly? With this thought, Lu Ming decided to go. "All right, let's set off in a while," Lu Ming said. After a while, the three finished eating and flew west. They wanted to head to a nearby large region and take the trans-region transportation formation. 9 Dragon City in the Tianwu domain was known as the largest city in the eastern wasteland. The reason why 9 Dragon City was called 9 Dragon City was because it was mainly formed by 9 huge dragon veins. Each dragon vein was actually a mountain range. They were vast and boundless, spanning tens of thousands of kilometers, winding around the vast land. Among them, there were 6 dragon veins in different directions. In the middle of these 6 dragon veins were the other 3 dragon veins. The 3 dragon veins gathered together, forming the core of the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace. Around the 9 dragon veins were city walls. However, these city walls were not ordinary city walls. They were all mountain peaks. Countless mountain peaks rose from the ground, reaching more than 10,000 meters tall. They gathered together and formed a circle surrounding the 9 dragon veins in the middle, forming 9 Dragons City. 9 Dragons City's area was unbelievably large. The city's area was about the same as the Tianxian domain. That's right, a city was equivalent to a large region. This was simply unbelievable. From this, one could see how majestic the city walls surrounding Nine Dragons City were. They were made of many mountain peaks. It was simply unbelievable. Clearly, this was not the creation of the world. It was said that it was built by a supreme expert from the ancient era, forcefully uprooting countless mountain peaks from the ground and surrounding the vast Nine Dragon Veins. How vast of a project was this? Lu Ming stood outside the city walls of Nine Dragon City, looking at all this in shock. He found it hard to believe that there was such a shocking building in the world. Was this something that could be done by humans? Even martial emperors could not do this, right?